This is the Screen Blast podcast. It's the monthly wrap-up. It's January over.
This is the screen. It's the screen.
It's the screen. It's time to believe in the screen. I am one of your hosts, Bryan the Baltimorean, joined alongside
Canine Biscuit.
Superfly, Super Frisk.
And that's one of the movies that we're going to be talking about, at least the end credits. One of the movies
Super
we'll be talking
Fresh?
about. Of course.
Superfly from TMNT. That came out like...
That wasn't Superfly, that was Superfly. Superfly.
Yes.
Well, of course, what we do here is we talk about movies that we've seen, movies that hit the big screen. We talk about films or TV things that we might want to catch up on, and talk about here. Games that we've played, things that we just want to cover that happened or we were eventfully entertained by in January.
I think we're doing this now because Bryan almost had no roster for fucking January until like 2 days ago when he just
until Wednesday evening.
Yeah.
No, Tuesday evening.
He's finally caught up
Hyperspeed.
Almost everything.
This is why you can do that in January. I can't do this in June and July. Did you see where you got 7, 12? We got 8, 9, 10. Now there's 4 big movies, but there's gonna be 10 unique movies.
I'm already gonna see everything.
That's what your Stubbs shit is made for.
By the way, the price went up by $3.
Oh my god!
But also they made a new rule. I can see 4 movies a week now. But they bumped up the price. But at the same time, I'm there's barely 3 movies to see a week.
Yeah, now in
this
January
means nothing to me.
In January, the only thing that's helping you are those, and the Fathom events don't count, right?
Yeah, they don't.
Yeah, it's
so
you can't even watch the specialty.
But even then, I don't watch every movie at AMC sometimes, so.
Not to? Yeah. Talking about the things that we've seen, though, Mark, we're going to go ahead and get started. Before we do, though, we got to make sure we tell everyone, look, this is a spoiler alert.
Fine, about time you start adding those, god damn! There's people gonna find our, because we don't have that much of an active audience, but there's people gonna find our shit later and be like, I wonder what they had to say about this movie. I can't, I hope they don't spoil it.
They revealed everything.
They die at the end.
They revealed everything. But this is, again, a spoiler alert. We're just telling people, hey, heads up, we're going to be spoiling the movie. We're going to be talking about key things of the movie.
Everything we're talking about, we're spoiling. This is a...
Yes.
Screen Blast is a spoiler-filled... discussion of everything.
Absolutely. So, spoilers away. Let's get started with our first movie.
DogMan!
Mark, we talked about it with the, we were listening to the end credits theme for this. This is DogMan.
Why you start, this is at the, so wait, I thought you were going to go in order.
Fuck no. What? No, I'm going on the choices that I make, and so this is how we're doing it. Here, I'm going to give you guys...
I ain't trying to spoil anything myself, even though we said spoiler, and I'm like, why are you going to put the fucking best movie at the beginning?
I mean, there's a best movie at the end as well, so calm down. In simple, guys, here's the synopsis. A cop and his friendly canine literally combine to become DogMan, and things ensue. Now, this was... Ooh.
Alarmo.
Oh, I missed some of that early part of that. I was like, you gotta get into this.
That was the Wii Fit alarm. Go ahead. Yeah. The Wii Fit chime.
This was screenwritten and directed by Peter Hastings. This is the guy that actually developed the Captain Underpants series. Not the books, but the DreamWorks series. He actually developed Kung Fu Panda Legends of Awesomeness. He was a writer on Cat Scratch, a writer on Darkwing Duck, and Animaniacs.
Does he have anything to do with the Captain Underpants movie?
No.
Right.
That's what's funny. It's he does such a good job with...
The series is good. I like the series. It does remind me a lot. The humor actually is in style of the series. Also, surprisingly, a lot of this, it's almost the style of the first Captain Underpants movie, which I'm surprised he didn't work on that. I'm pretty sure there had to be some writers on staff that's from that movie.
No, guaranteed. But, I mean, just in terms of how he's... plus, obviously, the core thing is they're pulling mostly from DogMan itself, which is still written from the same crew as Captain Underpants' comic as well, or graphic novel as well. So
same author, yeah.
That's where we're getting really...
They're kind of universally connected because George and in the first book, canonically, George and Harold write DogMan.
Right, Dog. Nice.
And between chapters, you get little papers that showing that he get in trouble for writing it. There's a school slip about you ever get one of those school slips when you get in trouble, you have to write what you did wrong, you need a parent signature?
Yeah.
And it's what did Harold do wrong? Write DogMan comics. What are you going to do to improve? Can't talk, too busy writing more DogMan.
That's gold.
It shows that he don't give a fuck. I love it.
A+. Before we get any further into this, just want to say a few more things here. Voice cast includes Pete Davidson who as Petey, Lucas Hopkins as Little Petey, Milton Howry as Chief, Isla Fisher as the reporter, Sarah Hadoff, Ricky Gervais as Flippy the Fish. By the way, he was the villain in that classic, wonderful movie, Legends of Hank, Paws of Fury. I don't know why. When I heard him as the fish, I was like, the first thing I thought of, oh yeah, Legends of Hank, Paws of Fury. By the way,
the voice of Chief from is from Peril in the Purple Crayon.
Oh yeah, that guy. Yeah. And the voice of Dogman is, by the way, the director, Peter Hastings. Last thing here before is this was actually animated again at studio. This was not animated in-house. This was just like Captain Underpants. It was animated out of house. However, this is not the same team. Not the same team that animated Captain Underpants. This is over at Jellyfish Pictures, which I had to make sure. I was like, is this SpongeBob stuff? Is this?
Which surprised me because
but it's not.
This is okay because goes without saying this is a surprisingly well-made adaptation for a oddly like the books, because I think I've read the first 2 issues or something like that, but the books they're in a format that should not be adapted into a movie. These are a series of gags and stuff. And you can say the same thing for Captain Underpants, but yet they pulled it off anyway.
Yeah.
And it's this movie has a lot of has a lot of similarities with the Captain Underpants movie.
Yeah, the feeling of this movie, what I felt.
Did you ever see that movie, by the way?
No.
Oh, it's really good.
Yeah, you were highlighting it the entire time. By the way, this I'll talk about it at the end. This movie, but this movie to me, it felt literally in most of the film, it just felt like you were getting 4-panel comic strips the entire run of this movie. It felt like the entire movie was just connected, piece,
Yes.
piece. Because it was just thing happening. It was that's not bad though. This fits for this format, and it's so much fun.
Reminds me a lot of the first Lego movie with lower stakes.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a lot of fun. Again, you have the thing that works here is again the wittiness of the writing. I don't know. Again, I haven't read Dogman, so I don't know how many jokes they were pulling from the books themselves. But I do know that the comedy is hundreds of just
most of them
so many a lot of jokes per minute. And they were good jokes. These were good jokes. You have the life's not fair. Life's not fair.
Right.
Life's not fair.
Oh, that's most of these are original. It's just even the overarching story. It's just the. I don't know if they pull. I haven't read. There's a lot of Dogman books, so
right.
I don't know if they're pulling.
I know my sister likes Dogman, so I don't know, but I know there are a lot of books just because of that, but I didn't read any of them.
Yeah, I only read Dogman leading up to this movie because I was Captain Underpants boy. But from what I've noticed is there's a reference to jokes from the books, but they mostly just put their original spin on it. Kind of just same way as the Captain Underpants movie does.
Nice.
Again, I'm so surprised both this and Dogman somehow got theatrical movie adaptations. It's just something that shouldn't happen. Honestly, it's weird.
No, but if Diary. I think we don't get this if Diary of a Wimpy Kid didn't make money. I don't think we get. Not that these are the same thing, but I'm saying you know what I mean. You talk about things that get pulled in certain directions. I think Captain Underpants doesn't get made if Diary of a Wimpy Kid didn't make money. Not that it could.
You asked me years ago, could Captain Underpants get a TV show? Yes, but
but a movie?
theatrical movie, no.
Yeah, that.
And good.
And good. This reminded me a lot of the. This is we talked about during the Wild Robot. We were okay, this is a really good, especially since we just came off the top 10 stuff. This is DreamWorks at its best. This is how DreamWorks does when they're really doing their best. Same thing with Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. This is what they do when they're doing their best. They have an A movie, they have a B movie. You know what I mean? They have the movie that they think is going to just bring families in, make some money. They have the movie that they think is going to be the Oscar-nominated film. This is the B movie, but it's one of their best. Not their B movie, like not B movie. You know.
What's the deal with these?
Yeah, but this is their alternate movie that. This is one of their best representations of that because it nails everything well. It tells a simple story. It has a lot of heart to it, but it's not. It's not. You know, like you don't need to do everything.
It doesn't try to. Well, here's my thing. It doesn't try to have like high stakes, and it doesn't have to try. It doesn't like force any like high emotions.
Right.
It like these scenes of like emotions just feel cute and like feel very like it just feel very like in character and like in tone with the rest of film. It feels forced. Like a good example of an anime movie that has good humor but has forced like sentimental scenes is Michelin's versus the Machines. Like, did you ever see that one?
No.
Pretty good movie. I like the humor of it. I love the art style, of course. But like, I feel like that movie has like a lot of sentimental moments and a lot of them feels forced.
They just try to push a little further than they really need to in those moments. I feel you.
And
we even used to talk about that back in the day when Pixar they would try to oversell you on certain. Even Pixar would try to do that on movies that like didn't deserve it. Like this, it knows where it is, and that's perfect. And by the way, go ahead. What were you about to say?
Like it just doesn't try too hard to be like absolute cinema. It
just has fun.
It just wants to be fun movie, and it's like there's because like I can see like this can turn some people off, but like it's just a series of gags and a series of just things happening, but the visual style is just fucking perfection to like keep your interest in, and the gags are actually hitting more than they're missing.
And again, this is what DreamWorks used to nail great. When in the 2000s as well. It's like again, you have the alternate movie that just brings families in, makes a ton of money.
Yeah.
Like the thing about this movie is unlike we talk over and over. Monsters vs. Aliens is bad. It's not like bring your kids to it. Like maybe you'll find that's bad. This is this is actually a really good movie where you're gonna get some fucking. If you're a parent, you're gonna get some fucking laughs out of this. Like you're gonna have a fun time watching it because it's visually appealing. It's not doing the lazy thing that a lot of studios do with their like. This is better than most of Illumination shit because of how much it cares to have fun with itself and how much it cares to have fun for the audience. You know, like the characters, everything about it is just like it puts the effort in that it doesn't need to for the fact of what it is, which is it's not like you said. It's not trying to be peak cinema. It doesn't have to be, and it just sits there and does everything, I think, at a 10 out of 10 for what it is.
Yes.
I
was saying that, DK, like, this is not better than, like, than other animated movies I saw, even as I'm putting the score lower than them.
Yeah.
But, like, I'm, like, saying, for what it is, because I was saying this to, like, long after I came out of the theater, like, this is a 8, I'm fishing between, like, an 8 or a 9 out of 10 for this. This was great experience.
Yeah,
like in context with the score for what it is. Yeah, like 9 out of 10.
Because it just knows what it does. Like it.
Because like that, you got like that's probably future cartoon chat, but like you got like the Cat in Underpants movie is kind of like that too.
Yeah, this was so much fun.
I'm also visually it's great.
That's the other.
Here's the thing, like we've had like CG movies that's finally trying to find like a different style, like different type of style, like kind of like Spider-Verse and TMNT. I'm finally glad we got like a kind of like a successor to like the Charlie Brown movie, because that had a certain style that like wasn't kind of being copied.
No, it wasn't being replicated. Yeah,
it wasn't being replicated.
Yeah.
And like also I was waiting for like, okay, like after I saw the Charlie Brown movie, like, okay, when we're getting more of these Blue Skies dead.
Well, they had Ferdinand, which didn't do anything with it. Also, so
the last movie was
Spies in Disguise.
That didn't count. I'm just talking about in terms of visual.
But I agree.
I was waiting for like more Charlie Brown was what I'm getting at, and like, but even that, like, nobody is still trying this art style, to copy this type of art style with Charlie Brown, and it's like now we finally have this movie where it's not Charlie Brown, but like it's kind of using the same similar techniques because a lot of these designs only work in 2 dimensions. The art style is extremely simplistic.
Yes.
Where you can't imagine it outside of two dimensions, and like they do wonders with it. It's like these, because like the DogMan drawings like are very like simplistic, and like they're meant to look like they're drawn by a kid because canonically they're being drawn. The world is
literally being
drawn by kids, by George and Harold. That's the point of it.
And again, I feel like it feels like when you're watching this movie, they are literally pulled off of that page. Like it feels like you're not. It's not like you're not like, it's not so jarring. Like, you know, not that Roly-Poly was jarring, but it's not like zoop and you pull them into CG worlds. Like, oh Jesus Christ, what happened? It's
well,
like,
this is where the similarities to the Lego Movie comes in too, because how Lego Movie was about like trying to show the imagination visually, because everything was made out of Legos, but also like it was made to where like it was made to look where it was like an animation made by a kid. Like when they shoot guns, you're like pew 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 pew. Yeah. Like when you see explosions, you see like little squiggly lines around the explosion and stuff. It's like little visual flares.
Again,
to reference the fact that like it's still meant to feel like it's drawn by a child.
I'm not wrapping this. This was a note that I had earlier when I was looking at this. This has a budget of $40 million, and visually it does more impressive work than anything that Disney Animation Studios has done in 5 years, or more. By the way, that's Ruby Gillman, which we talked about being low budget. This cost $30 million less than Ruby Gillman did. And technically, Captain Underpants cost $38 million, $2 million less. But if you adjust for inflation, Captain Underpants costs more than this movie. And it looks like this. New studio.
Yeah, they didn't, because the way Charlie Brown looked was what I wish Captain Underpants would look, but they still did well with the art style it had.
Right.
It was still very bouncy. It was still very much like this, and like this one just like upped it to like the dial to like infinity on whatever Captain Underpants was doing, and they did even way better.
This is all that I was hoping what was going to happen over these next few years is we were just going to get. And the question was, how much of a budget would it cost? Where, you know, it's like, again, it's not just Spider-Verse. It's like you said, Peanuts movie, you got to take some, it has to take some credit as well. But where we get out of this CG stance that we were in for like 10, 15 years, where everything was like trying to chase Pixar, and we got out of it, and now everything's doing this, like, their own design language. They've got people, like, so many different studios are finding these different design languages.
Thank you, Sony Animation, for starting the trend.
And but Peanuts deserves credit because that came out a year before or 2 years before. But like, it is impressive.
I know Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs as well, right? So like, you had these moments, but they were few and far between. So it's like it is very impressive to see that we are at a point now where, in all levels, like, this is where DreamWorks, by the way, can sit as well. Like, we were kind of worried. I was kind of worried about what the future of DreamWorks was a few years back, and here we are. Bad Guys, Puss in Boots. They've rebuilt themselves, and this movie's gonna make money. This movie will be a profit by the time.
I gotta say, I love that DreamWorks intro. It's just like I love that it changes. Like, I love that I can look forward to it changing every time. It's now I want that from the Disney intro. Just change it a little bit every time.
Yeah, they are.
Like, what friends am I gonna see like the DreamWorks logo go by?
Yeah, because they are the. Again, DreamWorks just seems like they're the ones outside, like the big ones. They're seemingly the ones that are caring the most about their effort. And yeah, that intro was fantastic because it was like, ooh, like, there's Roz immediately.
Yeah, immediately. It's so pleasant because it feels like, well, like, I don't know, like
they still exist beyond where you last saw them, just for a brief moment.
It's like kind of like the Cartoon Fridays.
Exactly. No,
like,
yeah, agreed.
It's like
agreed.
the like.
Yeah.
But it's more pleasant than that because it's like the DreamWorks guy and he's just the DreamWorks fishing boy and he's just like going through dimensions and like everyone just knows him like hey and like hey it's like all of our friends from it's our buddies from Shrek, it's our guys from Madagascar.
Which again,
it's a bad guy and they're in a little car, they're waving on. It just makes you feel good.
It does. It's a great IP. It's what you should be doing, and I don't think they should drop this anytime soon. This should be what they stick with for a long time. They got to do something with Madagascar, though. I don't know what the fuck. Like, you're still putting Madagascar in there. I know it's a big deal, but you guys need to make another movie if you're going to keep dancing Madagascar out here. It's like, you know.
I know dancing a lot of things out here. I love the things they're not putting in there. Like, I would love it for, like, the DreamWorks guy. I'm like, it's Jerry Seinfeld me! Hey!
It's
Monsters vs. Aliens crew, there they are.
I would love if kids got horrified by the one-eyed blob, just, you know.
Oh no, it would be funny if Eli is going past and then you see like Monsters vs. Aliens and like you just like start speeding up. Nope.
Oh fuck! But hey, again, it's good to see that the
fuck it, it's ants.
It's ants.
and they didn't improve the CG at all. It's still like from like early 2000s.
Oh my god!
Like, hey, look, it's ants.
And it's not blending well either. With the guy. It's like, oh my god. But yeah, this was man. We talked this time last year. It's like there's Kung Fu Panda, and it just did not deliver. And here we are. And I'm like, good job by the team. This is not core DreamWorks, obviously, but if this is, again, surrounding the DreamWorks network of studios that will be taking over, and they're already talking about a Wild Robot 2, and they're talking about, you know, like, going forward.
I don't need that, though.
I don't need it either.
I really don't. Deliver then, if that's the case.
I don't. But this is a good, you know, this was a good, Dogman's good. Dogman is a movie that, if I, here's the thing, if I have family over, and there are kids involved, Dogman.
Probably, again, that will guarantee Cartoon Channel this year. I'm putting my foot down now. But, like, Cat in Underpants is also, it's also a great movie about, like, the imagination of being a kid. Just, like, throwing back to, like, just, like, being a kid. How it feels to be a kid. I love that movie, too.
That's awesome.
And also, The Shivers is great. But, it's going to Dogman in general. I like how it's, like, it's also secretly about Petey.
Yeah, no, the core movie.
It's a villain story.
It's more about the villain getting therapy because he's you know, being vile toward this son that he's created, you know, and the son's just getting. By the way, is it funny that we just had Garfield last year and they do a much better job with their own.
I know, right? Movie. And they bared backstory too and everything.
Yeah. Like, and they.
I was thinking about Garfield as I was watching this. Like the same, it's an orange cat, same type of cat, and like it's almost the same type of origin story, but it's better. But it's also with daddy issues too.
And also, but Dogman is also pulled from a graphic novel and all that. Not that Garfield is a graphic novel, but it's hundreds of comic strips. It's like.
Well, Garfield has graphic novels too. He has everything.
They have right.
He has everything.
Like, I'm sure, but it's like how. We talked about it before. It's like how they decided to go and just make that type of film with it. It's like, and then you see this. That's why Dogman, I think, is so impressive. Again, is we've seen so much generic shit out there that does. Smurfs is coming up this year, and you know, it's like, look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this thing. Like,
I love that. Like, it doesn't like just end with like it kind of. For a cartoony movie, it kind of ends realistically. Like the dad just leaves with all this shit. They just got robbed, and there's like no karma. There's no like.
He didn't change.
Yeah, he didn't change. There's nothing else to it. He left just like he did before.
Yeah, Petey grew even though he was still put in the same situation.
And I love the character development where like, little Petey was now seeing everything as like shitty because like he saw a father figure that was
just antagonizing everything.
Yeah,
he was showing everything in a negative light. That is again one of those good things that there's just little moral things in here that are just really good breadcrumbs for people. That again, like you would think in other movies, how generic, but it comes across with a lot of heart in this movie. You know?
Yes.
Yeah. The building fight sequence was absolutely A tier. Because again, we're back to imagination. A lot of fun, a lot of stupid mess.
The indifference building, like
like I can see my house from here. Like it's like again the imagination, the fun of just like fuck it, we're just gonna have these buildings like run.
Wait, did the house wave back?
I don't know if it waved back, but it definitely said hi, like it said hi or something.
Okay. By the way,
I'm gonna see that. Yeah, go ahead.
No. So I was sort of expecting like George and Harold to like kind of be the introduction or like outro to this movie, but I can see why they didn't because it would kind of break the reality of this world, because like in the books, they're in the intro and outros, because they created the world.
Right.
But like in this sort of movie, you don't want to break the reality.
No, because this is more outlandish.
Yeah. And
that's perfect for this. This is a playground of fun. And again, we're back to.
Well, also it would just take the realness feeling out of everything.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. If you were to go and the book closes.
Oh no! By the way, none of this was real. This was all created by a kid. But I was still expecting some George and Harold reference, and I did, and that was it. Those two kids were sitting on the bench when they were like, "I can see my house from here." That was George and Harold.
Oh.
And so I was like, "That's it! Oh, thank you!" Because I was like, "This movie's almost perfect," but like, you gotta have some kind of Captain Underpants reference. You gotta have some kind of George and Harold reference because they are a part of the first book. I'm not sure they're in the other books later, but like, because even the art style gets a little bit better from what I see in the other books. But like, they gotta be a part of this, and like that little canvas, that little scene. I can see my house from here because you can see them from the back. That's George and Harold. And I was out like in an salon, and like I was clapping. I was like, yes, yes.
That's awesome.
Great movie. 10 out of 10 for that.
Yeah.
10 out of 10.
Just for that.
They did everything because they did everything. They checked the entire list.
I'll be honest, Mark.
That was pure fan service.
I'll be honest with you. We're gonna talk just briefly to cover Wallace and Gromit at the end of this. But DogMan, I thought, again, like we said before, I think it's an absolute. That's what we're briefly talking about. We're gonna talk about Wallace and Gromit before we wrap the wrap up, obviously, because we saw that at the very beginning of January. But I'll be honest, like, now maybe it was because it was at the end of the day with Wallace and Gromit, but I certainly was enjoying. I'll be honest, like I love Wallace and Gromit. I think it's more the nature of seeing them again is what was magical for Wallace and Gromit, not necessarily the movie itself. But this, it's like I was from beginning to end. I'm like, this is just creatively fun.
I mean, no, nothing against Wallace and Gromit, but like, this is a new experience in like a IP that hasn't really been adapted before. Wallace and Gromit, we've seen Wallace and Gromit before. It's just more Wallace and Gromit, even though Wallace and Gromit is like A1 steak sauce no matter what. It's still more Wallace and Gromit, and we're just like, I'm like, it's just more pleasant than like amazing.
Agreed.
But we'll get to when we get to it.
Yeah, DogMan. There's a high chance that by the time we get to our half point, this is going to be still my favorite animated movie of the half year because there's not too many coming out in the early half. So, DogMan, front runner right now.
I'm trying to watch it more than once. It might be mine, but like...
It's like Dune 2. Remember when Dune 2 was like our number one for like 3 months? It's like, boom, same deal.
Yeah, I don't know, like what else how much competition there is this year for animated movies. Besides, like, Zootopia is coming after the half year.
Yeah, Zootopia is coming, Bad Guys
I know
2. Remember Bad Guys 2 is coming. So that's another DreamWorks.
Here's the thing,
we didn't talk about
the short. There was a nice little short.
Yeah, impressive. I'm glad it had more budget than the Christmas special.
Here's the thing, the Bad Guys movie was pleasant, but it wasn't one of my favorite DreamWorks movies.
It was just good for a reset because remember before that, Puss in Boots hadn't come out yet, and it was like, all right, what are they doing next? And then they had the year. It was mostly like the art style, and it was like, it was overall just like pleasant. But it's like it's not even close to my top 10 or probably even 15. We definitely thought it was extremely fun for the time, though. That was the thing. It was fun. The vibe was great.
So I'm looking forward to the sequel, but like I don't think it's gonna be like anything amazing. Or probably like I'm gonna say it. I don't think it's gonna be anything great, but I think it's just gonna be pleasant again.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, DogMan. Yep.
If it is, I'm down for it. I hope it surprises me.
Agreed. Next up.
What's the situation?
The police are reporting that armed terrorists have attacked the Israeli athletes.
There's a hostage situation going on right now in the Olympic Village.
Whose story is that? Is it ours or is it theirs?
Next movie is September 5th. Mark, let me get some thoughts out here. The synopsis here. The film follows the ABC broadcast crew. You know, it's what a wholesome thing to do while terrorism strikes the 1970s.
Hey, that's what the fucking Germans want you to fucking. They want you to still think it's all butterfly and rainbow.
So hunky dory over there. Yeah. Director was Tim Feinbaum. This was his most significant work in a matter of years. The cast includes John Magaro as Jeffrey Mason, Peter Sarsgaard as Rune Aldridge, Ben Chaplin as Marvin Bader, Lonnie Bennett as Maureen Gebhardt, and Benjamin Walker as the legendary broadcaster Peter Jennings. Wide release was mid-January. Mark, a lot of things to love about this movie. Absolutely, I think interesting placement, interesting thing to focus on.
Well, like interesting, like perspective to focus on because I didn't look at the actual event until like after the movie, but like the actual event is just like fucking horrible.
Yes.
The way everything went down, and it's like it really makes Germany look really bad.
Well, yes. I mean, and you also, I don't know what was normal and what wasn't during Olympic Games at the times. Obviously, now you get extreme security. There's no way you're getting in. Anyone's getting in at all. But this vantage point of a sports broadcast team, sports coverage essentially doing this, and trying their best to find vantage points and report on this and take it as seriously as they can. You're watching as things start to unfurl. Like, I think what's interesting is, this is the situation's tough, but this also is, I think, an amazing film that shows, like, the main character is in his element. And when he's in his element, it's some of the best moments of the movie. And these are not great moments when that is the case. But sometimes it is, just sports. Sometimes it isn't. Sometimes it's the terrorism portions. But I think we get toward the early portions of the movie, the main character is given the directive to, literally direct. And when he's got everything going, it's like an orchestra. And it looks so... As someone that likes to... you like the video. You want everything to sync up.
I like period pieces. I'm like...
I'm talking the video production part, where it's like... When he's like, ready to, and two's getting ready, and you're seeing everything behind the scenes, and it's like, alright, we want graphic in. It's like, all of that, I was like, this stuff sucks. This is a terrible moment, but I am glued to the screen at how amazingly interesting this all is.
I mean, this movie wasn't based off a true story, but like I like that aspect of like Late Night with the Devil, of like when you get to like the behind the scenes part and like how they're like starting up everything, how they're starting and stopping production of that show every time.
Yes, absolutely. But I thought like
I was actually learning something from this movie, like. How they put in logos and text back then. It was like all that shit was physical back then. I assumed they had some kind of like computer editing where just like they just paste the logo. It's like and like they just like type in the text, but like no, like that was a physical logo.
And the way that they had to obviously find, they had to record the content, capture it. They had to retrace everything. They'll go through everything, find footage that they think would be... Because, of course, you can't do the stop recording, go recording. You're just recording. Like, all of that was great. And then, again, placing it all once they got back to the production room. And it's like, all right, now we want to line everything up. And it's like, prepare 2, prepare 3. Have this footage lined up so that we can do that. Do a fade in and all that. And it's like, it felt so orchestral in that moment. It was great. And... like, I love that as much as I love that as much as I hate the situation that obviously is happening right next to them. Because you're watching this as things are progressively going further and further downwards. Everything's spiraling. And I think it's interesting because, you're seeing a point in time where TV is still, it's 1972, so there have been major events that have been covered on TV, but it's still early enough that most of the early stuff, as we saw, was on radio broadcasts, right? Like, where they were getting their news in the beginning was, like, from other places, local broadcasts, or from radio.
I think your word for I do not know much about that time period.
Right.
In terms of entertainment media.
But I'm saying now, I'm going back to the movie, though. Like, when we're in the movie, like, when it's all starting and they don't know what's happening, like, they're getting most of their news stuff from... local reporting or radio, and it's like and the way that they're broadcasting in the beginning is they don't have footage, so they're having Peter Jennings talk on a phone like it's radio still. So you still have this lost in translation part of we're not at full TV yet of we can have everything brought, like, not everything's lined up yet where, you know, we have live footage simultaneous to this footage and like we have currently. We're seeing the beginnings of it, and that's also.
I love the part where like they look at the terrorists looking over the window, like, that's our opener.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like, because you know how much work goes into this, or you can now see how much work is going into it.
Like even communications between like people is rough because back then like everyone like nowadays we're probably all just using smartphones, but like people were just using different communication devices. Like somebody's on a walkie-talkie, somebody's on a phone. You have to have the person communicate over the radio or walkie-talkie to the phone, and like they have to have them both together.
It's incredible.
And hope they can hear each other clearly enough.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like, and they have to have the walkie-talkie over the radio so that, like, one of them can translate it.
And then I don't know if you probably remember, but at a certain point, it's like because they're in Germany, they have to use a satellite to broadcast back to America.
Yes.
And the way that all the satellites being used, because it's all new tech. So it's like CBS wants it. It's like, what? No, we need the broad. And then so it's like everything's being. It's like, oh my god, this stuff is so archaic. It's so early. And you know,
CBS. Put our logo on the top right corner then.
Right, like we're just gonna override basically, and we're just gonna make this work anyway. I love so much the technical side of this. I think it's magical, and like you said earlier, it's a vantage point that you just don't get. But also, this place and time is perfect for it because there's so much work that goes into it, so much more work than if this was 2025 and you were trying to capture news. Like, you're getting news a lot faster. Like if you were to make a movie about something in 2025, you're not getting that tension as much because the news is just coming in from whatever source.
They're just gonna be talking like social media feeds for what the people are talking about.
Exactly.
Like what the German social media feeds and stuff.
Yeah. But then like that
send drones out there.
And that relays back to the real world situation that was happening outside of it. It was interesting to see that we were like, it's like, okay, you get that German Olympic perspective of let's just keep the games going. Let's try to just let things out. It's like, that is insane. Like, and they didn't tell the other countries that were, by the way, in the actual Olympic, like, apartments there. All that Olympic everyone came back and they were mad because it's like, how we can't get in. We just did Olympic performances and we can't go back in because you didn't tell us that there was a hostage situation. Insane. But they didn't really tell them everything correctly. That's insane. You get obviously to the point of the airport, and the lies of that, where that's probably that's the biggest part of it. Where just it's interesting because the way that news works now is everything is just, well, I heard this, oh, ignore it, and like they would just say it anyway. Like,
yes.
And here, you get a real moment of, we are new. This
like
is
everyone's
news.
safe. Everyone's good. All the hostages are like, there was no casualties, and then a couple minutes later.
But even before that, before they fired the official shot of saying it, the guy's like, "Are you sure? We need sources. We need."
Yes.
Like that moment was like so critical because it's like.
I was in terms of like just the broadcast and the broadcast, what showed up on the broadcast. But yeah, in between that, there was that tension.
There was that tension before of like, this is news. Are you sure you want to do this? Because in present day, it's like they just put that shit out there because they're desperate. Like there's like, fuck it, we heard something, but like it was impressive that like they even put that in there. And then like you said, the bigger one was everyone's happy. Everything, it seems like things are going good. They were listening to the German government. The German police guy or government guy comes in to their broadcast. On their broadcast says like some weird fucking shit like, we think it's good. We think it, like, if it's like a lot of ifs, a lot of we thinks, and it's like, what the fuck?
I know after that matter, but after the events take place in the movie, they put an operation in place where, because like the terrorists got away, and they put an operation in place to like just to find the terrorists or anybody that has to do with that terrorist attack, and like or anybody that seemingly has anything to do with terrorist attack, and like innocent people kind of got killed because of that operation. Because like there was like I think there was like more than one person. I know there was like one specific guy they like targeted, and they killed, but they found out later he had nothing to do with anything.
Jesus. Yeah. A lot of
really
death.
bad. Again, it's a story that makes Germany look really bad.
There's a lot of death out of that, and again, like this is like it's an unfortunate point in time. It's a learning lesson, and again, I think you can have both things at the same time. You can have this incredible technical presentation of how things were at the time. Like that's where the period piece is, the technical production side of it, and then you get the terrorist. It's this terrorist situation that brings even more angst, because once they realize that they are broadcasting to the terrorists where the police are, like across from them, and that they are putting police in danger as well. Even if the police were foolish, they didn't know what they were doing. It's like you're making everything more vulnerable. That's a tricky thing to do, and like it puts a lot of moral questions on the table.
Oh yeah, like my favorite part of the movie is when, because this happened in a real like story too, but like the police are trying to do like a secret operation that we're trying to sneak in, and then like the news team was broadcasting it.
Yeah.
And then like the terrorists found out because they were just watching TV.
Yeah.
And then they just burst into the newsroom like, what the fuck are you guys doing?
Yep. And it's like, hey, can you see this? Or can they see this? Like, oh.
Yeah, is that TV in there?
It's like,
and then the government police just like bust in the newsroom.
Yeah.
And they just start turning everything off themselves, even though like I don't know if they were allowed to do that.
But it's like, but it was for the safety of, it's like, you could see from both sides of it. Yeah. Obviously, one of them was in the significant wrong, but it shows, again, the positives and negatives of how you report, when you report, how, like, all those things. But September 5th, thought it was like, great. I was on the edge of my seat the whole night, the edge of my seat, but yeah, just because it's like, you're watching to see what's around the corner, what's about to happen, what's happening on the technical side. Will they still have the feed to America? Will that get cut? How are yeah.
The story was also valuable to me because I didn't look up anything ahead of time, and now that I did, it's a little bit more valuable to me because like now I know the events that are going down if I ever rewatch it again. And it's like, okay, this is when this happens. This is when this happens.
Yeah.
This is what leads into this about like later down the line.
These are the keys that are put in place to get to that point. Absolutely. September 5th, guys. Good movie.
Yeah.
Enjoyed it. All right. Let's keep it moving.
Limited release, though. Limited, was it limited?
It was limited early. It went wider in mid-January. Like, it was in every theater for over the past week and a couple weeks. Certainly.
Yeah, I was surprised I got to see this at MAC in, like, Washington, D.C.
Yeah, because you still had the early limited release, and then it was in a lot of places.
Mine came out with a Q&A at the end of the movie, which was a nice little addition. But because what was funny was I knew there was Q&A when I went in, but I forgot about it after I finished watching the movie.
Yeah. And
I was going to leave the theater room, but I still saw a bunch of people behind me just still in their seats, even as the end credits are going. And it was like.
There must be something worth waiting for.
Do these people know this is not that type of movie that has something at the end credits?
Mark's over here.
And it's like,
this isn't the MCU. What are you doing?
Yeah, and it's like they're still just there waiting for something. So I was just my bus isn't coming for another fucking 30 minutes. So I got time. I'm just gonna sit there with them. It's warm in here anyway. And it's like, oh, the Q&A. I forgot about the Q&A. And it seemed like a nice Q&A. I don't remember much from it, and I think I fell asleep on some of it. So I was like, eh. Hey, I was still in a nice warm seat because it was fucking cold outside.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Q&As are always great. Coraline, that was cool. They had a little moment there. That was in Q&A, but with Look Back, they had a great Q&A discussion with the director and the voice actors.
Wish I saw that. There was what would have been a nice Q&A for when I saw Dandadan in the theaters, but that was before the movie.
Smart move.
Not appreciated before the movie. Please put it after the movie.
Yeah, Transformers 1 did that as well. Revealed everything. That was great. September 5th, guys.
If we don't get the rent money by 6, we gonna be on a curve with Fabian.
You wanna buy my grandma's vintage speaker?
And your grandma just died. She ain't even in the ground yet.
Next movie is One of Them Days. So in this movie, Drew and Alyssa only have 8 hours to get the rent money before they're evicted. This was directed by Lawrence Lamont. His prior things are mostly a lot of short films and music videos. He actually appears in the movie as the guy who buys the shoes. That's the director. This was written by Cyrita Singleton. It stars Keke Palmer as Drew, SZA as Alyssa, Cat Williams as Lucky, Maud Apatow as Bethany, Josh Neal as Keyshawn. The budget was only $14 million. Mark, I thought this movie took me back because we used to, this was a genre.
Well, first of all, it's a comedy in the theater.
Yeah.
We're not getting many of them because we're getting action comedies, or.
I'm saying you take over because you gotta go ahead.
Yeah, but it's just we were hardly getting just full comedies in the theater anymore.
Right.
And I was interested in seeing this. I tried to see it was with a theater audience. Make sure I saw a theater audience. My theater audience wasn't very active.
That stinks, dude. I saw it on Tuesday afternoon, and it was literally full house. And look,
were they active?
Oh yeah, a lot of laughter, a lot of enjoyment.
I was expecting because I know one of the most active movies in terms of recent memory of this type of caliber was Bad Boys.
Ooh, Lightyear, yeah, woo.
Lightyear, yeah, boys. Was Bad Boys for Life.
Ah.
That had an active theater audience. That was enjoyable. I thought it was gonna be similar to this, but I didn't get an active theater audience in this one. Sometimes you win and you lose some. I remember I was disappointed when I went to see Deadpool and Wolverine on your guys' showing because I went to my first showing. I went to the 4DX theater and my entire house was fully active. They were cheering on every cameo and everything. And I saw Deadpool and Wolverine during your guys' show and I was like, here comes the cameos. Yeah. And it's I hear some people here and there, but no, the audience isn't roaring. This is a pack out. What the fuck is it?
Yeah.
Scream!
But this is the type of movie where if you're gonna see it in theaters, you want to get those laughs, you want to get the energy from it because that's what this type of movie. These are the movies that look this isn't this is the classic inner city black comedy or just the black comedy movie that's low budget was all over the place in the 90s and the 2000s, right? Look, Friday, right? Are we there yet? Which is more of a road trip movie, but it's
I've
still
seen some of those.
Use that. You
years
have.
ago,
Well,
I've seen those in the theater.
I only named 2. Yeah, no, but some of these became staples of VHS DVD households.
Oh yeah.
White Chicks, First Sunday, Big Mama's House, right? You have these situational things.
At least I'll watch those first 2 movies you made. I'll actively stay away from the last 3 you just mentioned.
What, First Sunday?
Oh no, White Chicks and Big.
You know, First Sunday was actually set. The setting.
I don't know what First Sunday is.
Setting was in Baltimore. Also had Cat Williams in it.
Okay.
Yeah. This was. It felt this is, I believe, I think slingshot comedies, low budget ones especially, back into theaters because again, this was only $14 million. And again, this is the type of thing that's going to revive the theater space, right? This is what we're oh man, Disney's the only thing that's filling up theater seats. It's no, you just need to jump into
inorganically.
Exactly, but you need to a lot of bought seats. But but this is the type of thing where you're going to get people into these theaters because comedy sells. You don't have to push it straight to streaming. This is funny stuff. And, it's a lot of this is it's just relatable comedy about a shitty situation. That's this movie. It's just relatable comedy in a shitty situation. A shitty situation. And, I thought this was absolutely hilarious.
Well, in a good way, I want to say, because I know this. Before I get, I'm just gonna say this.
Well,
movie,
comedy.
This movie was well made. It was very funny. It was well shot. Not in a bad way, I'm going to say this, but this movie was pissing me off.
Go for it. Explain.
Oh yeah, it was mostly the characters and what every character does besides the central straight character just pissed me off, and there was like a lack of karma.
Yes.
Between some of those characters.
No, that's
fuck.
But that's the relatable. That's why I think these movies are so relatable, because that's always the case. It's just real, right? Like, I mean, we know the person that's never going to adapt to the situation, and you're still gonna hope that they get better, but they're not.
Yeah, they're just kind of like
they're not.
That's why I like escapism. I just want karma to happen. I want everyone to doing bad to just get beat up. I hate seeing like the relatable parts of like the worst parts of my life.
And the people
because
that
I know because like each type of character in this movie, I know these type of people. I've met these type of people. I've been like these situations where I'm with like we've both been with a dude who just keeps making things worse.
Either that or just
and they don't feel like they're at fault for it.
Well, I mean, and you remember in school, like just the chicks that make things worse.
Yes.
Just because.
And they don't feel they're at fault for it.
No. And that's why I think this is so. That's why you can laugh at it, and that's why the theater was erupting as well, because it's like, man, like that's just how people are. That's just how the fuck people are. Like, it sucks.
Well, because it's not. What I'm saying is not against the movie. It's just like it was like.
But it pulls you in. It pulls you into the reality of the situation. Like, the reality of what's around you, and that's why I think this is great. That's why again I want more of these movies to get out there, because again, like, you know, this this is hilarious. It's hilarious, but it's like, but it also, but you're rooting for them, and you're watching the ticking clock, and at a certain point the ticking clock doesn't even matter, and it's like it's, you know, but
it extends,
but it also gets like there's severely relatable moments where it's like, you know, you're in a situation where, you know, like, you know, you need money now situation. We've all seen the loan people that are absolute shithole. These are absolutely shitty loan places, right? We've been to the places where you get the coupon, or sometimes they won't, and it won't be open for you to even use the coupon. Now, surprisingly, they actually let you use the drive-thru.
Well, I like this movie's also like funny because also it's not realistic where it doesn't need to be, and like for the sake of the humor. Like, there's sometimes where it's just, like, very cartoony.
Yeah.
Like
the shoes. The shoes. She does the shoes.
She gets electrocuted and she just falls down.
Yeah.
Or the fucking blood. Because
oh my god,
has that much blood in them.
Yeah.
Gets that much blood sucked from them and, like, lives.
Yeah, that was wild. Yeah.
I love the fucking, the ex-stripper who works at the blood bank.
That was great, yeah.
Like, someone works at the blood, like, no, they don't work like that. This is so stupid.
You want some more? You go ahead and do some more. Yeah, that was stupid.
Like, do it. I try not to do it.
Yeah, and then like, but again,
I love the guy just like keeps swiping the fucking food from the
guy. Yeah, the guy that just keeps
Church's
like the
chicken.
hoodie that steals the food. Yeah, over and over, then gets run over. Like, yeah, that was great. It's one of those. This is a movie that legitimately reminds me. It's in many ways it is just using that structure of Friday. Which, have you seen Friday?
I vaguely remember I know my sisters. Well, I think I watched it with my sisters years ago. But it's one of those movies I vaguely remember. But I know I watched it.
It is using the structure of Friday, like very much so, but it's doing it in its own way, like, you know, because there is, again, even in Friday, by the end of the movie, you got to get something done. Something has to be done by a set time. This is pretty much following that. It's following it, but it's not.
Are all the Friday movies good? I know there's like 3 of them.
I think Friday and Friday After Next are quite different, but I think they're both funny. I have not seen the third one, Last Friday or whatever the fuck that's called.
Oh yeah. I was just making sure there's not any stinkers.
Yeah, I would say the first two are worth seeing. Okay. Because you also get the difference. It uses the second movie uses the fact that they're out in the suburbs. They made money now, or they go out to the suburbs and they have like how does the hood black guy that goes to the suburbs act now that he's got money, and it uses that as a platform.
That reminds me. I love when the white lady comes in.
Yeah, so that's again. So like you're using just again. There's humor in reality. They're using the humor of the real situation.
Yes.
Where the apartments on the picture aren't gonna look as accurate as they do when you get to the real one. You're gonna get this situation where in certain groups are gonna come in. They're gonna try and gentrify it. They're gonna make it look better for that group.
I love they gave the not neighborhood the apartment area a lot of character in the beginning.
Yes.
You get to see you get to meet the entire community in the beginning. Like the movie really does a good job in terms of character.
Absolutely.
Like these are a lot of these characters are very kind of minor characters to the story, but you get to know them and very well.
And it comes back full circle when you get to the end and they need to really set up the stuff because it's like you know how bad structurally the area is, how he's treating everyone in the area. In that apartment set, the landlord is treating everyone in the apartment. It all kind of comes full circle when you get to the end of it, and you're at that ticking clock point. And how does he treat everyone, and how is all that happening? This is again this is funny as fuck. This is funny as fuck. It's honest. It's it's.
I had my doubts when I saw the trailer.
But it's like we said with the Wild Robot, where it's just honest about the setting that it's in. It's honest about it, but it's funny as well. And when you get that honest energy, and you're not overselling it, you're not underselling. It's just you're tapping into it truly. It's not bullshit. And then you've got the interview thing. I think is the most critical thing where. It's like you just really want to shine. You want to be able to shine in that moment. Everything's going left. She gets there, and even when she gets there, does a good interview, and things are about to go great. Even then, shit goes left. There's a fight that fucks everything up and is so attached to that hood culture energy, and it's like it feels like damn, that's the end of. You're not gonna fucking get a fucking a raise out of that now.
Yeah, I had my doubts about this when I saw the trailer because I'm trained to for shotgun comedies that are that have hood culture or have very humor centered around black people stereotypes.
Yeah,
they're often more missed and hit.
Yes.
Way often missed and hit, and
I will say that probably is why, because it did get degraded. I said why hasn't it come back? That is one of the big factors. Is a lot of this genre did get degraded. You had a lot of just garbage comedies that came around and would just degrade it horribly to the point of not being funny, being a waste of money, being bombs financially because you're not putting anything into it.
Yeah, it's just because it's just white people be like, black people be like. This movie does that, but the jokes are nuanced and they're actually funny.
Yes, that is where it matters.
And most importantly, it has character.
Yes.
It's if you get used to the character, you can make a lame joke, but it'll be funny because you know the character. You're laughing with the character.
That's it, and that's why again, like you said, establishing that setting, and then establishing the situation, and then. That's what they did at first. They established the setting, they established the situation, and then they pressed play. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was a great place to start. Is you just do a little bit of, we have time.
And a lot of black comedies is also just reference humor. Is it weird that it's just like this? Is it weird that it's just like this IP that exists? Is it weird that how in movies, they do this and we're doing that thing what we're making fun of?
There was some haunted movie with some black actor. This was 10 years ago or so. It's
no, fuck, I forgot that.
And it was you remember it, but the trailer was so bad and the humor was awful, and it was what the fuck is this? This is terrible. You guys didn't even try to write this shit, and it's this is comedy. This is comedy. This is great. But again, I hope that we get more of this. I hope that this sprouts more. Because you can, maximize here. So, yeah.
The Blackening.
Yeah.
I was looking for the title, The Blackening.
Yeah, I'm glad we both remember this.
I think that got decent scores though, but the jokes in the trailer were bad, so I never looked at it.
You just
Oh, it's
you
just
felt-
decent score.
You
It's not
felt
good.
you felt off the humor that it was going to be mid.
Like, I'm gonna be honest. I would have skipped this if like the scores for this one wasn't good when I looked it up. But the scores for this one are pretty good. It's getting good word. The movie getting good word of mouth.
It was Discount Tuesday. I was like, fuck it, I'm seeing this movie. Plus, it's a packed theater. I get to feel like I was ordering the tickets and I saw it was like packed. I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna get theater energy. So I was like, oh,
Shit, I wish I went to your showing.
you know, go to Discount Tuesdays. Then you're gonna, you'll see Discount Tuesday. You'll.
I have a membership. I don't need fucking discount.
I know you don't, but I'm saying I think doesn't AMC have Discount Tuesdays for regular people? Isn't that on Tuesday?
Well, yeah. It's for like all theater most theater chains have just like our discount on Tuesdays.
Yeah, but I'm saying Do you notice that there's more that are more? Well, then again, AMC's fucking tickets are expensive either way. They don't fucking really reduce that shit.
Well, I only pay for them in bulk.
Yeah, they don't really care.
I only buy them in bulk.
By the way, last thing I want to say is Sony.
This is a Sony movie?
Sony. Can you give TriStar, like... Can you give them something valuable? Like, Columbia gets everything. They get everything. Here, the last significant movie that TriStar had was Baby Driver.
I need to see that. I keep hearing so many good things about it.
But you know how many years ago that was? That was a long time ago. That's not, like, recent.
Also, I'm also kicking myself for missing that in the theater, but I keep hearing that like has good sound design as well.
It's great. But that's how long ago it's been since they've had a significant thing in their lineup.
I'm sorry to keep going off the subject, but like, you saw it already?
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
Okay, so it's great.
Yeah, it's got Kevin Spacey in it.
On my list.
But also, there's not. By the way, I looked at their lineup. There's nothing interesting. There's no properties that are like well known and recognizable that are upcoming in TriStar's lineup either. So like, you guys could like balance this out a bit more. Like, it's so weird. It's like, what the fuck? You've got a whole big. TriStar's a memorable organization, but Columbia gets all the love, and you just don't.
Now these Spider-Man and Ghostbusters movies ain't gonna make themselves, so.
So you just keep them over at Columbia. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. One of them days. Next.
There was just a spark.
Next, it is Companion.
Come.
So to keep it simple, guys, a simple cabin getaway with a few friends becomes a chaotic mess.
So this is a spoiler review. We're just gonna give away the premise.
This was written and directed by Drew Hancock. This guy, by the way, was a writer on Mr. Pickles, Fred, the series, and several TV series and shorts.
I fucking hate Mr.
Fred,
Pickles.
You don't remember Fred, though? Fred, the Nickelodeon show. Fred.
That was those movies were like kind of bad. They're good quality. I know me and a couple guys in
no
Discord watching them.
fucking way. That's crazy. You guys are insane.
We were watching them ironically. We were having a fun time making fun of the movie.
This stars Sophie.
But I fucking hate this. I hate to shit on Mr. Pickles. One of the worst animated series ever.
Yeah, it was weird.
It's ugly. It's fucking
Get through this. Sophie Thatcher as Iris, Jack Quaid as Josh, Harvey Julian as Eli, Lucas Gage as Patrick, and Megan Shuri as Kat. This had a budget of $10 million, by the way. Mark, you can go ahead now. What were you saying?
Mr. Krabs is a robot.
There you go.
Oh, do you have the wretched? Okay, you can pause it, but like, get the regular poster on screen.
The regular poster. This can't be good enough for you.
Yeah, I want to talk about the regular poster. Go.
Okay. Fine. 1. All right. You looking for the poster, Mark? What's up? I didn't even realize that the poster reveals the thing here. I'll be honest with you. I had no clue about this. This is all new to me.
Well, it's just like the lady that loses her pupils and like seems somebody whispering. I didn't know what the movie was. I didn't realize it was I didn't put it like 2 and 2 together. It was the same movie I saw with like who's the actor that plays Huey?
I don't know.
And the boys.
Oh, Jack Quaid.
Jack Quaid. I didn't realize. I didn't put 2 and 2 together. That was like the Jack Quaid movie. But I remember I saw this. It looked almost AI, like it was made by AI.
What, the trailer?
No, the poster.
Oh, the poster probably. I mean,
yeah.
You know.
Also, look at the poster again.
Yes. What am I looking for?
No. Zoom out. Dude, that's Violet from The Incredibles.
Ha!
That's why, like, whenever I was like Because you see that poster, why like they have that poster up in the theaters. That's the advertisement for poster for Companion.
Okay.
I was like, why is Wyatt from The Incredibles there?
That is gold. That's funny how that's the first thing that you thought about when you saw that.
Yeah, it looks like Wyatt. She looks like Wyatt from The Incredibles. Just realistic. I'm realistic.
I didn't even think that was even my first thought, but I mean, yeah, when you have the hair thing and then the color, yeah, boom, you got it. Mark, when I came out of this theater experience,
Oh, my chair sucks.
Cool. When I came out of this trailer experience, Mark, I was like, there's not too much to look forward to in the future. Global warming is going to fuck with us. AI is going to take all of our jobs. But at least there's going to be some nice sex robot that I could enjoy. And then this movie goes and reminds us how evil it would be to fucking have a sentient sex robot to enjoy. I'm not even going to do... Fuck it, I don't want it anymore. You know what? Thanks, movie.
You're gonna buy
I
it
don't
anyway.
want that. I don't want that.
What the fuck you don't want anymore? You're not gonna buy it. You're not gonna like that you are like that you want it. That's the real thing is.
Sure, if that's what you want to call it. Is that what they call it?
Is that what he calls it?
In all realism, I wouldn't recommend seeing this if your relationship is on the rocks. This feels like a movie that really does nail the best and the worst feelings when you're, just when you're in that relationship. The moments where you're kind of just hanging on a thread with that relationship, just remembering the good moments. Like if you're at that point, by the way, you probably shouldn't even be there. Or you're at the beginning and you're feeling the highlight of the start of the relationship. It's even showing the violent shit. You've got at the end of the movie, like the very violent shit that happens at the end that, allegorically would remind someone of a domestic violence situation. Obviously, this is not that. This is a sex robot. But in reality, if you were to tether this elsewhere, you'd probably be thinking that in that way.
I wasn't really thinking about that aspect. Also, I wasn't really comparing it to personal experience since I'm ace both sexually and romantically. But like this was a fun like a sci-fi story that has been done before with this fun take on it too. And it's interesting that they chose the actor. I forgot the name again.
Jack Quaid.
Jack Quaid, because I'm so used to seeing him from the Amazon Prime show The Boys, where he plays Huey, and Huey's a very vulnerable character. So it's weird how in this movie he is like the antagonist that's in power.
Yeah, I think I don't know who his agent is, but I feel like people are gonna be fucking tired of this guy after the first quarter of this year. I've got an ad for Novocaine before this and before the one of them days, and I'll tell you what, I'm like, all right, I'm good.
That's just big actors in general.
No, Tom Cruise, I see him in Mission Impossible. Denzel Washington, I see him in
Well, this is not his year. Some actors have those years.
No, I feel you. I agree with that. I didn't. Here's the thing. I didn't feel that with the actor that was in Creed 3 and Ant-Man 4 or Ant-Man 3. Right? Like I didn't feel that in those movies. The antagonist guy. But similar situation. Of course.
Well, it's because his character feels the same. That's why.
But
as far as we know from Novocaine, it's because in this movie he feels like Huey from The Boys but evil, and Novocaine, he's Huey. He's just Huey from The Boys.
Yeah, I'm not saying I don't hate him. I don't even honestly. It's been a while since I've even watched The Boys. That's not even a fraction. It's just that we've been bombarded constantly with both of those trailers. If you've watched movies, and it's like, all right, I'm good. I don't even want to see Novocaine, honestly. That movie doesn't seem interesting. This actually was like...
I do, because I still like that actor, and, again, I like the character of Huey. Yeah. So, I think he is being typecast, but, It's only for these 2 movies, so I'm just like fine with that. It's like I'm not getting
We'll
over.
probably go into voice acting and play a typecast into that scene.
I was like, I'm getting tired of Chris Pratt, and I'm getting tired of Jack Black. They're everywhere.
Yes, agreed.
So, but like, so alright, but he's not in much. He's just been in more things as of recently. But like, other than that, I don't really see. I haven't been seeing anything else except for this movie and Novocaine coming up.
Yeah,
it's just weird that they're coming close to each other back to back.
This was a terrible idea to have them within a month of each other. That's all I'm saying. Terrible idea. Because
like audience can easily mistake them for each other.
Yeah. Now, getting into the movie, I thought that this was great. I didn't know anything about this movie at all going in. Even though you had talked about it this was on your list of anticipated movies here.
Yes.
I
didn't know anything about it going in either.
Yeah. And,
I just know it was like a toxic relationship.
Right. So with that being said, when it's like funny because all the signs are there, like especially like you get to the grocery store, she's walking robotically, but it's like I wasn't thinking about that. But then once you get to after the Russian guy gets murdered, and then she gets like turned off, it was like, oh, even everyone in the theater that I was watching with went, oh.
So I started catching on when they got out of the car and there was like, thank you, car. I was like, okay, that's not nothing. There's like some kind of theming going on, and then like, cause I wasn't for sure that was the premise, but then like they kept throwing in like.
I thought it was just a Hyundai ad because I mean, I'll be honest, like they were really pushing that Hyundai throughout the whole.
Do we get like cars that have like fully voice activated to just do everything for you? Okay.
Yes, that's what that Hyundai does. So
I didn't know that.
I was like, wow, they're really pushing this advert. Is this what paid for the movie? $10 million.
Probably.
This paid for this?
Because like a movie that like got its money back for advertising is the first Aqua Teen Hunger Force movie. Because like I don't think it made much in the box office, but it didn't matter because they had so many advertisers that movie just paid for the movie itself.
Jesus, it's impressive.
So I love like how adult movies operate back then, or still do.
Yeah.
They just do some weird bullshit, but like, this movie I was explaining how I.
You were trying to find you were catching on the clues.
Yeah,
but you didn't
yeah,
know what was exact. Yeah.
Cause like I remember when when they were in bed, he was like.
The weather.
No, he was like, go to sleep, and I was like, did he just give her a command? Yeah, and then like.
That's like a relation. That's also like a. Well, I mean, you don't want to be in that relationship, but it's like a. I don't look.
No, I get it, because that's also a thing I've seen, like, the relationship dudes in media, but like the way that was presented, I was like, okay, I think that was a command. The way it was framed and everything, just the specific way it was framed.
Yeah. But
I wasn't too sure. I was like, what I like about the movie, when I was making these assumptions, I was second guessing myself. I wasn't for sure like robot.
You
weren't
SpongeBob with Mr. Krabs.
Mr. Krabs is a robot, but like but I wasn't for sure. I was just second guessing myself. I was like, was that a command? And then she was given a weather, and I'm like, I think something's up here. I think she's a robot. But the movie's not telling me for sure, so it could be some other twist.
Agreed.
And then she killed the guy, and it's like, oh, she's a robot. Because it was still surprising when like you have all this tension going on after she kills like the dude, and like she's trying to explain everything. She's in shock and horror, and then like the scene, everything just stops. And it's like, go to sleep. And I'm like, oh,
that's where exactly. Yeah, that was when it was like, oh, okay. Yeah.
And then it shocked me again. It surprised me again when like the boyfriend.
That was a real like, what the fuck? Wait a minute, how, you know what I mean? Like, how far? Wait, everyone's got one of these?
Yeah.
This isn't just a rarity. Everyone's got one of these motherfuckers.
Well, because like I was wondering what the other characters were treating this as a normal thing, and like when the big guy, I forgot his name.
Well, one of the big guy,
Yeah, but like when. Because I don't know the actor's name, but he plays Guillermo in What We Do in the Shadows, which is a A1 show. It's a documentary. It's a fake documentary about vampires.
That's cool.
Kind of like The Office, but with vampires. But like it's about them going through day-to-day life. And it's really funny and it has a lot of fun celebrity cameos. I really recommend you should watch that show. It's on Hulu.
Okay.
But I know he plays Guillermo in that. He also plays Pedro in Puss in Boots.
Oh.
He's the voice of Pedro.
Legendary. That boosts him up for me.
Yeah. But like, yeah, because when they were talking after she killed, like, it was like, isn't there a protocol for these things, like a glitch? And it's like, no, they're only as strong as they allow her to be. I'm like, oh, so he has experience with these robots. It's not because I was thinking the other chick that hates her was also a robot.
Yeah, I mean, you're right.
He said, like, yeah, you make me feel replaceable.
Well, when she said that, it's like, I'm trying to, when I was following the breadcrumbs, it was like, okay, well, why does she make you feel replaceable? And was that because you feel like, you know, the guy that you're with clearly enjoys spending, like, talking and spending time with her more, it seems? Like, what's the reason that you feel replaceable? You know, but it turns out it's because, again, she doesn't know it mentally yet, but she is a robot.
Yeah.
You know, so her greater purpose is just him. Meanwhile, the actress that isn't a robot, she's free flowing off her own fucking choices.
And so like, and here's what I thought it also like surprised me again once we even get the premise, because like, okay, I get it now. It's about these group of guys trying to get away from a killer robot, and it's like, no, that's not the premise. The horror, like the reason this is the horror genre, the horror comes from is the humans trying to kill the robot. The humans are the antagonists. And we're following the robot, and like, oh, okay, that's clever.
It's a great take.
Because I thought where it was going is like the killer robot's on the loose.
Yep. And then it's gonna hook into movie 2. She's gonna be running it. It's like, no, that's not how this goes.
And like this movie's doing everything to make sure you don't sympathize with the humans, because you easily could, because you're a human as well, and it's like what they're making sure the humans, in terms of like what the things are doing, is like worse and worse. They're getting worse and worse morally, especially with like the main character, with the actor that plays Huey, because he's
fully self-centered. He has his own mission to get money from the Russian. That we learned that he had, this whole thing was just a strategic move to try and get a bunch of capital and money from this guy through an accident.
Oh yeah, well, like I said earlier, because he's from like I mostly know him from The Boys,
right.
And you even see it in Novocaine. He's also his characters he usually play are very vulnerable.
But I mean, still feels like, again, he still, to me, feels like this vulnerable character that just is an asshole. He feels like...
Yeah.
Yeah, that, like, he's the same guy. It feels like he's the same guy, just, like,
Yeah.
Oh, he's found an advantage through hacking.
Yeah, this movie is
That's
doing everything it can to make sure you don't sympathize with him. That's what I'm saying. It's like, they're doing everything to make sure you don't sympathize with these characters. So you are on board with following the robot's perspective.
Right, and it doesn't help, like, so many times he's so extremely manipulative, and, he's really just trying to find any way to maximize and take advantage of a moment. It's fascinating. I will say, at the end of the movie, I love, by the way, that we get the backstory, when they do the introductions because that, everyone's perception of like their first moment of love at first sight, it's inadvertently that's the moment, and it's like the question is that actually a reality? Because the way that this movie presents it is, sure, it can be a reality, but it's more fiction in the grand scheme of things. You're probably not like, but it portrays it so well.
Sorry. I'm just gonna. It's just bothers me. I'm not getting the names right. The main robot is called Iris, and the main character, the guy, is called Josh.
Yes. And I do like the fact that, again, the second guy, the second android there,
Patrick.
Yes. He gets to...
It's played by Lucas Cage.
once he gets into the cop uniform, he basically gets to play Terminator, which is
it's
so cool.
There's references to other robot stuff because it's like
this movie ends up becoming Terminator, and it's like interesting when he's he's going around and all that. This a low budget Terminator movie like this I wouldn't mind. Like everything has to be $500 million production and all that shit, but this was just like it borrowed a little bit here and there from other things as well. So you get to the end of the movie, and like you said, the human is the problem. And though you get extreme satisfaction when she takes the cork pull or whatever the hell machine and actually gets the win there. But
I was uneasy when I first saw that device. I was like, that looked like it could kill somebody. It could take like the essence of like somebody's like blood or something if you put it into a person, and they just deliver on that at the end anyway. I was like, okay, I was uneasy about the device, but like, they knew what I was thinking.
Absolutely, but I think this was an impressive. By the way, it kind of cuts like hypothetically now we're getting a Megan too, and she seems like she's an older character now. It kind of cuts Megan off at the knees for a potential.
I've not seen any trailers of Megan 2.
There's a teaser where she's old, where she seems like she's a little older.
She has a body?
She has a body.
Okay, because like the ending of the first Megan, she just takes over the house. I thought that was like it was going for like a smart house situation.
They're really leaning into
with the Space Odyssey 9000, like just taking over all technology.
They're really leaning into the cheese because the ads are constantly saying this bitch is back. That's the
this
ad.
Bitch.
Yeah. But,
we saw. You were there when we went to see our Universal. There was like a Megan character.
There was a Met. Yeah.
Yeah, she was dead. Like that was cool.
Yeah, that was smart. But yeah, this felt like similar, like because you were talking about, well, what if an adult wants Megan? It's like, well, there you go. If this is the same universe, which it's not, but if it was, there's the adult version. All right, Merry Christmas.
They don't want the adult version.
Mark, we're not getting into that question. Any final thoughts?
You thought you one up me, but no, it's still dark.
Sadly,
still plenty dark.
Sadly, any last thoughts on Companion, Mark?
A very fun movie. I got no other thoughts, but I am not tired of Jack Quaid. I think he's
you took my hatred. You're like,
Jack Quaid.
Because you spent, I will be honest, about 25% of this movie is you referencing the fact he's in the fucking Boys.
Yeah.
And, I saw Jack Quaid, The Boys. It's like, okay, all right, Jack Quaid, The Boys. Jack Quaid.
Bob Dole. Bob Dole, everybody. Bob Dole.
But again, I think this movie shines in being honest in the way that it kind of presents relationships. I think it. Again, if you're at the point in a relationship where you're kind of feeling like this movie kind of implies without implying with this robot, probably shouldn't be in the relationship because Companion though, still a great journey. Loved it. Mark, you're going to take over next because it is.
Not want us here.
Who do you mean?
The people here, they do not want us here.
I promise.
Brutal. It's The Brutalist. This was written and directed by Brandy Corbet. He was a writer on several prior films and directed a couple before movies as well. This stars Adrian Brody as Laszlo Toth, Felicity Jones as Elizabeth Toth, Guy Pearce as Harrison Lee Van Buren, and many, many more. This released back in December. Budget was only $9 million. Mark, take it away. The Brutalist. I didn't see it, but you did.
It was only $9 million.
$9 million
for 4 hours. It's weird that these movies, these indie movies, are they're putting out either this on par or on par or similar quality to a lot of these super big budget titles, or sometimes even better. And it makes me wonder for these big budget titles, is there money laundering going on?
There has to be. At this point, these movies these 3 or 4 movies we've seen animated, you could cover every genre: romance, comedy, animated, serious. All of them under $50 million, and you're. I don't believe it anymore because these all felt like movies. These all actually felt. You know what I mean? None of these felt cheap.
Yeah, fucking production, like Joker 2 doesn't look like 200 million, but like, I don't know, can they throw me like
A couple.
a couple million my way? Like they're
I
just throwing
promise
away money.
I'll reinvest some of it into watching movies. So look,
Yeah.
it'll go back, guys. I promise. Rest of it won't, but I promise. But tell us, The Brutalist.
This was a fun period piece.
Ooh.
A very interesting period piece. Fun is not the right word. But DogMan is fun. This is just like very interesting period piece about like an architecture, about like an architecture who like I guess escaped the Holocaust.
Ooh.
Like he deported to America to get away from the Holocaust, and he was like he was assigned to a job with his cousin to like kind of remodel this library, and then the rich guy who owns the library, like by the rich guy's son, to remodel the library, and by the actual rich guy who comes in, he was like, I don't like surprises. What the fuck is this? He just has a fit. And it's I think the guy's Guy Pearce.
Guy Pearce.
Who's a rich guy. Fucking Google's not giving me his name. But like
Yeah, I can pull it back up for you. One sec here. The Brutalist stars Guy Pearce as Harrison Lee Van Buren.
I'm just gonna say the rich guy.
I like how I gave you that. You know what? That shit's too long. Anyway.
He's like, what the fuck is this? I'm not paying you guys a cent because you guys are messing up my library. And then later, he tells him like, yeah, I was upset. Like, he finds him later.
Yes.
The Jewish immigrant.
Yeah.
But like, he finds him later, and he says like, yeah, I was mad at the time because my mother died, but like, I want you to help me build this community center. And the movie is mostly about like him trying to build help the rich guy build a community center, but through that there's like a lot of like tragedy and struggles going on, and like they later in the movie they bring his family into the mix, and that's when like the movie cuts off into
the intermission.
And it's just like it's a different because when the family comes in, it feels kind of like a different movie because the character dynamics really change up.
Oh.
I don't want to spoil a lot of things because I do want Bryan to see this eventually. But like it's.
I was like, maybe I'll get a chance, and then I was like, this month, I don't know if I'm getting a chance to see this month the way that it's looking.
I'll probably find a showing. Either that, you'll probably be able to rent it or some shit.
I'll just end up renting it. Yeah, I'm gonna do the thing that I did with the Snyder Cut because I shoot that. I know you did it you did it multiple times.
I hope I'm probably just cut out the intermission entirely in the. Yeah.
I'm just gonna do probably like I did with the Snyder Cut, which is I broke it into like 4 pieces, and then I like watched it a bit, paused, went about my day.
You probably break it up into 2 pieces because like I think where the intermission is supposed to be, there's like a picture of the family.
Okay.
And it's like a 15-minute intermission, but like I assume they'll probably cut that.
Because you don't need it.
Yeah, out of the home release.
Yeah.
I
imagine.
But yeah, this movie has like a lot of a lot of good character dynamics. Like it plays the realism very well. I enjoy it.
Nice.
Not trying to get too much away, but like eventually, at some point this year, me and Bryan will talk about it. But like going to the intermission part.
Yeah.
Because the director, I was surprised when we had an intermission. Because the director demanded it, and I'm like, okay, more movies need this, please, because we're getting like 3 hours movies like a lot nowadays, and it's like you're like whenever because I always check the time how long the movie is before I go into it every time. It's like a lot of them are like 2 hours or 3 hours, and like that for me that's like okay, you're asking me to go 3 hours without taking a piss.
Or just keeping it interesting. You better be good if you're gonna keep interest.
Yeah, because like dude, Killers of the Flower Moon was like just 3 hours and 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And like even though I was enjoying that movie, I think I had to pick and choose and like which scene is the least important so I can take a piss.
I also had to
this doesn't like this looked like it's gonna be more talking so. Piss. back.
I certainly had to mentally check back in with myself as well at certain points where you're just like, all right, am I about to nod off? No, I'm back in. I'm good.
Yeah. Well, I nod off only because I'm usually just a tired person, and I fucking.
And we live lives.
Then I cargo load during these movies. I eat a lot, so it's like
you're setting yourself up for failure.
The itis makes me sleepy because
of course.
I was also watching this I was watching the Brutalist at the Alamo Draft House, and like they will like bring you food when you they like kind of serve you food when
they bring food to you.
And I ordered like a cheeseburger and fries and a milkshake. And
it's a terrible idea in the middle of a 4-hour movie. My God.
I got there early in the movie too.
My God.
I was like, cause dude, I was dozing off near like the few ending parts, and I was like, I did miss some context. I was like, fuck, but I was able to piece it together. But I did miss some parts of the movie. Like, there's no way I'm going back to see this again.
Yeah, there's no.
I'll probably have to like, if this goes on streaming, I'll probably just like skip to the end to see the parts I missed. But like. I was still able to piece it together what I missed, but like I was like, when I like after I dozed off and like woke up, I'm like, oh fuck, fucking dozed off. And I do that for every movie I doze off. I'm like, did I miss any context? I'm like, okay, no, I didn't miss that much. And then sometimes I do, and I'm like, fuck.
Nice. All right.
But please, more. I hope this starts a trend. More intermissions for these long ass movies.
I'm up for
I need time to take a piss. I need time to collect myself.
Yeah, if you're anywhere above 3 hours, I think literally you should do intermissions because
I'm gonna say 3 hours or above.
Well, here's the thing: 3 hours is 90 minutes, but 3 hours is also if your movie theater is an asshole and they put previews in front of it, you've already been sitting for 2 hours.
Oh yeah.
You've been sitting for 2 hours already, so fuck you. I need an intermission if this is a 3-hour movie.
That's why I always come late to my theaters, but also like you get those unlucky like show times. Where it would be lucky.
It will start sometimes.
Yeah, it'll just like start. I remember I was just getting some snacks. I was like, yeah, these trailers for. I was going to see Wonka, and I was like, these trailers are going to be like what, 22 minutes, 30 minutes.
No.
Went to get some snacks to sneak in, and I got to my movie. I was like 15 minutes late. It was started at like 6. I got to the theater at 6:15. 15 minutes late. I'm like, what happened?
It is.
They were supposed to be previews.
It is hilarious when the disrespectful advertising-centric theater decides not to do their normal job role.
Only when you're not in the theater. Right?
Only when you expect that they're gonna have previews. Yeah. The Brutalist, Mark. I'll check it out at some point. Sounds interesting.
And I'm glad I watched it at the Alamo Draft House because I think the best theater for the type of movie that will have an intermission. And I feel like a crappy theater, like one of the crappy AMCs, will just like keep the lights dim and stuff, and just like still be dingy and stuff. It just wouldn't feel as cool.
I feel you. All right.
Good grief, it's you again. It's vengeance, most foul.
Last on our core portion before the backlog and our turbo port report. Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance, most foul. Marcus came
most foul. The foulest as fucking it's ever been.
This came out at the very beginning of the year. This released, at least for us, released exclusively on Netflix January 3rd. It was produced, obviously, by the legendary Aardman Animation Group. This was co-directed by Nick Park and Marlon Crossingham. Obviously, Nick Park is the longtime Aardman creator and animator. The voice cast includes a Ben Whitehead, who is the second voice actor for Wallace, Peter Kay as Chief Inspector McIntosh, Reese Shearsmith as Norbot, and Lauren Patel as PC Mahurgi.
Norbit.
So, Norbot.
Norbit.
Mark, we talked about this. This has been now literally a month and change since
I'm
this
pissed this came to theaters like fucking December, like in limited theaters.
Very limited.
Some in like LA and Vancouver and shit. None local to me.
Yeah, we don't need it. No one likes Wallace and Gromit. Only Netflix likes Wallace and Gromit. And then I love the fact, like you said, this movie they didn't even put front and center at launch. They couldn't give a fuck less when it came out. Netflix. They isn't that what you said? They didn't put it like front and center, like they didn't care as much as they should have.
Pause it.
One. All right. Yeah. But yeah, like Netflix just was not promoting it much. That was
even after it got the nominee.
Surprising, but not, because Netflix kind of doesn't even. They only care if it's their own in-house stuff that gets nominated. That's where they really will start to give a fuck and really put it front and center.
Well, they don't give a fuck about animation in general.
Well, of course, they slashed and slaughtered a lot out there. So, you know.
All these cartoons are just rubbish to them, mate.
Yeah, it's not making as much. I thought, what do I think?
I was excited for this.
You were hyped.
Because Wallace and Gromit are the boys. They're the boys. They're Armin's best work, period. Like, they make some good stuff, but, like, nothing, even Shaun the Sheep, nothing tops Wallace and Gromit.
Flushed away?
Get the fuck out of here. But yeah, even Chicken Run's really good too. But like again, nothing tops Wallace and Gromit. I think they were like, because like this is only their second movie ever. I love all their shorts. I really love Curse of the Were-Rabbit.
Oh
but,
yeah.
But like the short where the penguin comes from, I was about to say the title of this movie. The Wrong Trousers. That was a really good short, and it has a really well animated train sequence. You gotta look at it when you get the chance. It's Gromit is like placing train tracks super fast, and it's like the shots of that train sequence are so well done. Apparently, it's so good. It was so tough to animate that like they said they can't redo it again if they tried.
Holy shit!
It's too technical.
It's incredible.
Yes, but like when you probably after we're done recording, we just look it up. It's just like it's a really extremely well made like action sequence.
Sounds like you're talking about a better movie.
That's short.
Short, anyway.
But like
but that's where the penguin is from.
Oh yeah, that's where the penguin is from. But even after that, I think almost every Aardman project that penguin has been referenced. He's like has a small cameo in every Aardman project, like Flushed Away.
Yes.
He's in the background of the Shaun the Sheep movie. He's in a couple backgrounds in a couple places of other Aardman projects. And like the one I didn't notice that was like fucking right there, because it was also a hint, is in the ending of Chicken Run 2. There's like there is a group shot where all the chickens are like, yeah, let's get the humans, and then I didn't know, but like in plain sight, he is like right there with the army of chickens, and he just like looks over and he's like, oh, wrong movie, just like walks away. And he was like, I didn't find that out until I saw like an Easter egg video. I'm like, wait, he was right. It wasn't a blink and you miss it. He was just like in plain sight and I did not realize it. And it's just like funny how they casually put him there. Like, yeah, he's right there in the group shot. Yeah. He pops in along with the other chickens, and then he's the only one. But he just like walks away like he just knows he's in the wrong movie. It's gold. That's amazing. Okay. But I think that they were like waiting to get back to this villain for a while, so I can see like why they made him this like the main antagonist of the second movie.
Indeed. I thought it's fun how they utilize him. It's fun to see obviously any Aardman project just due to how well technically they handle their stop motion work, their claymation obviously. This situation of, obviously it plays into the convenience of, robots and all of that. That's not a new concept, but it's fun that they're putting a take on it.
I still love the age-old formula of, like, Wallace will make an invention and, it bugs the fuck out of Gromit.
Yes.
And, it ends up turning on Wallace. And it's up to Gromit to save his ass.
It's up to him.
But it's just a formula that never gets old. And Wallace, even though he usually starts the trouble, he's never a jerk or he's never an antagonist in any way. He always means well.
Yes, of
and
course.
He's just that's what makes these shorts so pleasant. Gromit barely talks, but he's the dog that he's the action. He gets shit done. And Wallace is just he's just a very pleasant English gentleman that just has a big imagination, just wants to live it. This is the It's old England Phineas and Ferb is what it is.
There you go. Holy shit. Yeah. Sorry, I don't have much to recall from this movie. It's been so long. Again, like, I mean, any time that you have, look, I'm not downplaying the moments of impressive technical moments there. You know, you had the boat chase moments. You had
the train
train
oh yeah,
sequence.
boat change sequence.
You had you had all of the gnomes walking around the neighborhood.
I was surprised how like we even like I had like odd feelings about those gnomes, but like I'm surprised they also made them they turned around on them like later in the movie.
Yeah.
Like they be like because even though they were robots, it was like, oh, these gnomes are just the antagonists. These need to be destroyed along with the penguin.
Yes. Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I think you do remember this movie because I do. It's just like there's not much to say because it's just more Wallace and Gromit.
Yeah.
And it's just pleasant. It's pleasant and like even though like it's kind of like an extended short, it just like it kind of like the Shaun the Sheep movie. It just kind of doesn't get old because like it's fun to look at. It's very pleasant to watch.
Agreed. And again, again, like we talked about it like before, like again, if I'm gonna rewatch something, I'm probably gonna rewatch Curse of the Were Rabbit.
I think that's still a better. It's still a better movie.
It's so mentally stuffed in my brain too. It
Oh,
doesn't have to. That's like Rocco, where it's like, you know, like the shit's like fucking shit. It's like that's like
the
so
Rocco intro.
It's so fucking forced into my goddamn brain.
Well, I think it's just overall a better movie. But like this movie is like not to downplay this movie. This movie's still good.
Agreed. I might have remembered this more if this had got a theater release. By the way, like if I was sitting down in a theater, like and I
you need to be in LA or Vancouver for that shit.
Exactly, but I mean, if this actually got the treatment that it deserved to get in America, probably would like. This is just the thing with a lot of streaming content. Like very much, I'm not gonna. You know, how many streaming things are you gonna remember when you're just sitting down, relaxed, watching on TV? You know?
Oh yeah.
If it's not recent. But Wallace and Gromit, again, I think it's still good. Like, I'm not saying it's good. It doesn't help that I just saw DogMan either. We talked about, like, DogMan felt like a breath of fresh air. So, you know.
Well, DogMan was new. This one was something I, like, an old, content I just wanted to see again.
Yeah.
And this was, this is still A+. Still an A+ movie.
Indeed.
And...
Next!
You're trying to make me lose my thought, but yeah, that was it.
Mark,
oh yeah, cameo from the fucking farmer from Shaun the Sheep. That was great.
Ah, okay. Cool beans.
Don't you remember that scene?
No.
Oh, I thought do you remember who the farmer is from Shaun the Sheep?
I remember Shaun the Sheep, yeah, I just don't dude,
because it was Wallace, he was like, it was like the ending sequence when like, Wallace was like, he was like skiing from the boat, and he was going past all these people in the park, and he like, one of them like was like, I think he took the accidentally took the farmer's picnic blanket, and he was like, ah! I was like, it's a farm from Shaun the Sheep.
Oh, okay.
We got that little crossover.
Right. Okay.
Again, kind of like DogMan when you see George and Harold in the background.
Right.
I was like clapping, like cameos.
Kick ass. All right. We're gonna go ahead and keep it moving more to.
For the next 2 hours, your ass is mine!
Saw this movie as well earlier this month, or January, to wrap up the core January review content. Tell me about A Better Man, Mark. I don't have stats on this. So, what do you think?
I have no idea who the fuck Robbie Williams is. I don't think I ever really heard of him.
He's the man. He deserved a whole movie. Woo.
So I don't really care for
Britain.
I don't really care for biopics of people I never really heard of. Especially musicians I never really heard of. But
my name is Romello. This is my story.
Who the fuck is that? Do you want to tell the audience who the hell that is?
No, I was just saying this as an example. What are you talking about? Yeah, anyway.
But what got me interested in this movie is the hook is like Robbie Williams is a monkey.
Ooh.
And like I don't get the gimmick of it, but the trailer presents it as he's less evolved than like the average human. So, but like, yeah, just because he's a monkey, the whole movie, kind of like how like the hook for me for seeing Piece by Piece was the fact that it was all built by Legos.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't find Piece by Piece all that interesting. This one. Alarmo. But like this one, I was very interesting because there was like I feel like there was an ongoing story where Piece by Piece, compared to that real quick, it was just like, life event after basic life event after life event, no really cohesion. This one is also feel like a kind of a musical too. There's a really good musical sequence, I think, to one of the songs called like Play That Music DJ or something like that. But like, cause it's also from the same director as like the Greatest Showman. Ah. So you get some of that talent in there. So like that music sequence is really good. I didn't want it to end. That's how good it was. And it has a very clever way of like showcasing how his depression works, because in moments where he's doing performances, he'll see like versions of himself just looking at him in disgust and disapproval, and just like, and at a certain point of a movie they start getting physical with him, like his manifestations of him, or his ideas of like his version of himself, like start getting closer to him, and there's start to be a fight scene with versions of himself. It's like really cool. Really, it takes advantage of the fact that like the main character is an animated monkey.
Nice.
And the story of Robbie Williams is still really well made. I think what's clever is Robbie Williams actually gets to play himself because he's just voicing an animated character.
He's playing us all.
I'm not sure what part, because I know this face is CG. I think like some parts of it is like the hands and stuff is physical.
Oh.
But it's a good story about like how he has depression, he's drug addicted, he's messing up his life. His whole career's spiked because his old boy band group like kind of kicked him out. All that story is just like really well presented here, and I do. This is probably one of the best movies I've seen this year so far. I think it's gonna make it in my top 5 of the half year. I really do recommend this movie. It's really good.
See, top 5 of the half year. Jeez. I just saw 5 movies that I'm willing to say, all of it were great. This isn't how January usually kicks off, but I'm glad that, overall...
Usually January we get a lot of slop.
A lot of slop. Nothing. But, like, all the movies that are in the January, like, wrap-up so far are pretty darn good. This is a good place to start.
Yeah. Sadly, this movie is not making any money in the box office.
No,
I guess maybe
maybe that's because who the fuck is this guy? But
yeah, I don't know who Robbie Williams is. I just saw a monkey. And
maybe they could have
monkey see, monkey do.
They could have just called it The Monkey Who Made It, and then they could
have just called it Monkey Man, the real Monkey Man.
Yeah, they should have.
No, parentheses, the real monkey.
The real Monkey Man. And they have a picture of the other movie. Fuck that movie.
the poster is him burning a copy of Monkey Man.
There you go. See, he's wearing just a mask. That's really my face. A monkey. All right, Better Man. Any final thoughts before we get to the next?
Missed opportunity. The ending should have had Johnny Bravo come in and like, do the monkey with me. Come on. Hey there, baby. Yeah, whatever.
Well,
right.
That part is the wrap up. We're now gonna move over to a blasting turbo port. Why is this report? We'll quick check in. Mark, we're
more like assing turbo ports.
This was your creation's name, right? Are you disrespecting your own work of art?
I'm past that phase now.
Anyway, guys, on the Turbo Port Report today, we're going to be talking about a couple games. We're going to get through a couple key reviews we wanted to knock out. So first things first, we're going to go ahead and start with our first game. All right, we're talking about Victory Heat Rally. It's the game that's technically not too new, but it's new on Switch. I picked it up only, honestly, last Saturday, And for the past week, I've pretty much completed it. I'm only about two races away from finishing the final Grand Prix and then getting done the championship portion of this game. I wanted to share my thoughts on it.
A question I have about you in this game. Why didn't you make the whole fucking thing on PowerPoint? Like, what the fuck?
What?
Why didn't you just make the whole fucking thing on PowerPoint?
Why are you still? Can we move on? Anyway,
inside joke, people.
This is like the time where I was doing the PSP panel, and you were like, oh. Like, you walked up midway through my presentation with, like, some PSP stuff, and I was like, Mark, this is great. But there's no fucking, like, that's not what this is for. I'm like, what? I was like, no. I'm like, oh.
You didn't, do a good job explaining what type of panel it was. I thought it was a part of it because you kept asking for my stuff.
Did I ask for your stuff?
Yes, you did.
I just said, could you bring a PSP?
Yeah, you did. You asked for my yeah, exactly.
No, I said, could you bring a PSP? I didn't say you were a part of it. I said, could you bring the PSP? That's all I said.
That's what I assumed you were part of it. I didn't know what type we were trying to do. I thought you were going to, like, talk and just, like, demonstrate it.
That's a very good point. But Victory Heat Rally, it's one of the newer games on the Switch here. This is where I play most of my games these days. Now, look, Mark, you're over there on the Steam Deck. You've got PS5. You've got all these things. Look, like, the thing with the Switch is obviously because of its limited power and because of its easy portability, not portable.
If your SD card's corrupted, everything will take a fucking long ass time to load.
For what, the Switch?
Yeah, if your SD cards are
not new, like
yeah,
are you using the SD cards, the micro SD cards from like 2009?
No, my SD card it's something to do with my SD. It's probably corrupted or something like that because like all my games are if you saw it firsthand, like they're kind of running slow in there.
Yeah. Well, you do have one of the. Is that your OG Switch model?
Yes.
Well, you did have the launch Switch, so.
I don't know if it's the Switch itself though.
I have the Switch OLED and it's moving like milk and honey. So. You know.
I have the. No, that's not the launch model. Oh shit, that's the second model with longer battery life.
Oh, okay.
So it's probably the SD card.
Well, you probably dropped it a few times. I don't know. I'm joking, Mark. All right, look. Either way, the point being is on the Switch eShop, there's not a lot of, there are a ton of racing games, right? One of the things that I like to do is try to find the games that are actually worth a shit to go out and buy. And one of the genres it's not necessarily oversaturated, but the issue is on Switch, it's one of the only genres that's actually really good on Switch right now, and that is like this Outrun-inspired genre, right? Like, I played a game last year, completed it, called Slipstream. It was inspired by Outrun. It seems like we're just getting a lot of those out there that are just, very heavy, inspired by that Outrun style, and, it's good to have these different creative methods of, how you're making these games, different ways of how you're approaching these games, different gameplay formats. But obviously the core is you're relying on drifting, you're relying on getting boost, you're moving around in that way, shape, or form. I thought that this was a lot of fun. It is, I think, being overhyped. I mean, for some people, this is obviously going to be a nostalgia trip. I think it does a lot for what it is. For $25, this is an absolutely great deal.
It was $25 for you.
Yeah, how much was it for you?
I think like 20. I think I got it on sale. It was like under 20 something.
Nice. Well, if you get it even lower, that's a great deal.
I mean, I get my games from Steam, and those games always go on a fucking sale.
Yes. So, but again, like I think what you're going to get here is an extremely fun time. It's very, once you get the control scheme down, it is going to be incredibly approachable. Once you get the control scheme down.
I love this game visually. It's like, I think for these type of like old style arcade racers, I think it's one of the best looking ones I've seen recently. The controls are just a bit slippery and hard to get used to.
Yeah, I think once you, that, and that's the thing about this is, again, it's all about getting the timing right, getting used to the cornering, because it is very easy to basically fuck yourself up. That's the whole thing. Now, this is a game that is extremely forgiving, especially when it comes to Grand Prix. Most times when you're in a race of a Grand Prix, like on Mario Kart, things like that, you cannot restart in the middle of a Grand Prix. You've got to go all the way back, quit, start over. I think they know, hey, you might have fucked up in a corner somewhere, so congrats, you're going to go ahead and just restart. You can restart that exact race. So they give you a little more freedom than you would hypothetically in a game that's a little more like intent on you playing like with force. But you got to get that control scheme down. There are definitely a few tracks that do not handle it well. There are a lot of tracks where you're going around corners and you're just going to fall off anyway until by the third lap, fourth lap, you've really got the hang of it. There are a few tracks where you end up where everything's perfect, right? You're cornering around things and everything's efficient. I think that the variety of tracks is great. Like, there are dozens out there. Like, there are games, we talked about Forza Motorsport, a game that costs hundreds of millions of dollars. Absolute trash lineup of tracks. This has like dozens of tracks that you're going to cycle through, have a good time with, and again, like, the way that you can adjust the characters here and there, it's not like Need for Speed level customization, but you're getting enough to where, like, you can change the color over time, you can change, characters, things like that. Change the settings on how much you want it to lean more to be more grippy, less grippy, how much you want it to be more acceleration focused, how much you want it to be more speed focused, how much power you want when you're coming off of those drifts with the boost there. Like, you can really adjust that.
My biggest flaw with this game is like I don't mind. I don't mind when things like need to be like unlocked. I like that too. I like being rewarded for like playing the game single player. But like I don't think there's not enough of a sample platter when you're just getting this game and just trying to go into multiplayer. Because that's my reason for buying some of these games, because like I just want to play multiplayer. And it's like when we were playing multiplayer, there was like not just a limited selection, a very limited selection of characters. Like what, three. Even though there's like way more than that, and like a very.
But here's the thing: there are 12 in all. And again, I started this game on I bought this game Saturday morning. It is Thursday. I've got through 10 of the 13 characters.
I know, but
like it's not like
I know. Despite that,
like, that's stupid. Like, come on, like I don't give like you got to play the game a little bit. You can't just be like, what the. Come on, guys, what's wrong with the game? You can't give me some characters. Like, well, all you got to do is like you do 5.
No, I'm just saying just a little bit more.
No, you're good. I think
no, just a little bit more, because like a lot of games, because like Mario Kart, you get like a decent amount of characters, you got like a decent amount of stages. I'm just saying more of a sample platter for multiplayer. If you're just
I think this is the sample platter. That's like demo level sample platter. I think that's what that's.
I think they could add a little bit more.
Sure, but then
because even like, other racing games we played had a little bit more than that too.
No, I agree.
I'm sorry. This is the shortest like. This is the most limited of like...
I think it works for what it is, because again, you can adjust the handle, you can adjust the speed. It's not like if you don't have a certain character, you're screwed in the moment of like playing against people. I think you're...
I know, but it's not about like... Plus it's not about like I'm not liking what I got. It's just like I just want a little bit more variety, so I feel like...
Again, you gotta play it. Like, if you're gonna get the game, then play the game. That's all you gotta do.
If I'm getting a multiplayer game, I'm going right to the multiplayer because it's multiplayer based. Most of these racing games are multiplayer based, and like again, I play a lot of these racing games. A lot of these racing games are not limited compared to what the content they already have.
Mark, how long did it take you to you completed Sonic Dream Team? How long did it take you to finish that?
There's no multiplayer in that game.
It's not, but how long did it take you to finish the single player portion of that?
It was like 4 hours.
Okay, congrats. In 4 hours.
So wait, my friends just kind of watch me play. I'm saying
when you're
because they're trying to be active. They want to. Hey, I want to play a game with you. I don't want to watch you play a fucking game all day.
I'm saying when you're home alone without friends and you have the game, you could finish in 4 hours.
So maybe you just buy it. When you're only turning on the game with friends.
You're the person that would do. You'd be perfect for the pay to win strategy. I don't have time for this shit. I'll buy my way into it. Fuck it, guys. Here.
Dude, I sometimes just buy these games just for multiplayer and just dive right into multiplayer. Talking to somebody who buys a lot of fighting games, who buys a lot of arcade games.
I think you're missing the point that in a lot of
racing
games...
in a
lot of racing games, you're not going to get all of the characters or a lot of the cars unlocked.
I know! They at least start you off with a decent amount.
No, they don't. Like, even Need for Speed back in the day, like, for what this game is trying to represent. It is literally representing...
Well, for the ones I play, I don't play Need for Speed.
This game is trying to represent the early 90s, and if you go back to Need for Speed, even in the late 90s, you look at Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2, you get a couple cars and a couple tracks, you've got to unlock everything else. and good fucking luck. That's all. Like, and from there you can play just split screen, but you're only gonna get a handful. That is how it works.
Hey, you go into these arcade games, like these modern ones, at least even these indie ones, you got like a decent amount of cars, characters.
No, I know, but I'm saying I can't. I'm not going to fault them for doing, because I think the vibe is accurate, the music is accurate, the style is accurate.
I think the stuff they give you is good, but I want some more for multiplayer for like.
But I think you're so it's like, all right, you want them to feel like a classic, a game from the past. You want them to play like a game from the past, reference like a game from the past. But then you don't. You want the stuff that would be in a game like for today. Like, yes, I understand.
Yes,
I understand.
Because it's a modern game.
Sure, but I'm saying, like, I don't mind that the creative team decided, like, play our game. That's all they're saying. Like,
well, yeah, just I'm not saying just give me everything. I'm saying like just give me a little bit more than what they got. Just a little bit more than what they got. Because they got more stuff over there, but like you're only give me a little bit.
What I'm trying to explain is the way that you unlock the reward system here is through playing the game. That is it.
Yeah, I think there should be stuff locked so you can play the game.
Yes.
But I'm just saying they have a lot of content
but
there.
It's not gonna, it wouldn't be good shit.
Just a little bit more.
It wouldn't be good. Now, here's the thing. Like, I mean, sure, you could add DLC characters. I think, in the future, I'd like for them to add.
I'm not saying there should be more. I'm just saying
unlock.
I'm saying unlock a little bit. This shit is there. Just unlock it a little bit. Just unlock the few other things.
And all I'm saying,
I'm not saying more in the game. What's already there, just unlock it and just like not everything. Just leave some stuff locked. Like this game has a lot of content. This game has a decent amount of content from what's locked.
Yes.
I think they can unlock like
all I'm saying is
2 or 3 more characters, like 2 or 3 more stages.
If you spent less than 2 hours on this game, you'd unlock 2 more characters.
Well, I'm trying to have friends to play to be.
Then
actually
do it
play.
before
I'm not
the
trying to
friends
fucking. I'm not trying to fucking have them backseat while I'm playing. It's like fucking playing Smash Bros. You got like fucking 4 characters out of fucking 60.
Why would they have to wait for you? Just do it when you're just. So let me explain this game a little more for you.
Because I buy it, because I sometimes just like start these games when I have friends over, because the point of buying them is multiplayer and not single player.
Holy shit! You should do research then. But let me explain. This game.
No, because I know what genre this is. Fuck you.
God. Okay. The point is that the speed in which these games move. You're gonna finish a race in like 90 seconds. You get through 4 races. You get them. If you travel through, you get through about 3 races. You're through in about less like 5 minutes. You get to the Grand Prix section if you're following Championship. Once you get through Championship, that's like you've gotten 10 minutes in. 10 minutes in, you've finished the Championship. You finished a whole section of the Championship, and you've unlocked a character. 10 minutes. So it does not take that long.
I know that's the same thing with every racing game. I'm just saying, have
like,
a little bit more unlocked. That's it.
No, but then you could solve, like, you're saying, well, I don't want to do that when people are here, or I don't want to have the issue when people. It's like you just have to spend 20 minutes before people show up and like get the bearings on it. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, that's.
No, like sometimes you just want to go in and play.
That's your fault.
It's like the same thing with fighting games.
That's not the developers' fault.
No, that's the developers' fault because other games follow that model.
That's great. Not everyone follows that model.
No, other games do.
No.
I play a lot of racing games.
There are a lot of. Here's another.
I buy a lot new games more than you. I buy a lot more new games than you do.
Yeah, and I know a lot of games in the genre than you do. But
yeah,
also,
I know a lot more modern games in this genre than you do.
That's congrats. And there's a lot of shit modern games in the genre too that aren't good. I don't know what to tell you.
What do you know? You haven't fucking bought them.
You've heard enough about them. You just do the research.
I do.
Buying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I'm just trying to play multiplayer. I'm not trying to ask for everything. You're thinking I want everything. I just want some. I just want a little bit more.
So, for instance, right?
Oh my god.
So there's I'm working with you here. Relax. So, Slipstream.
I'm trying to work with you.
So, for instance, I completed a game called Slipstream last year, which is also paying homage, and the developers really wanted to reference Outrun. And they already have like 6 cars unlocked there. Now, you cannot adjust, you can't customize handling, you can't customize anything about the car except for color, but you get 6 cars out of the gate, and then you just race. And you get like several stages right off the bat.
I think that's a great amount.
You get but that's their interpretation of how they'd want to offer the game to people, right? I don't think that I think the way that they also handle the drifting is obviously different than, like, the way that they interpret and they want to bring about the drift mechanic in their game was entirely different than here in Victory Heat Rally. So all this is just up for interpretation on how they want to.
My concern is not the gameplay itself at all. It's
right?
Just,
no, but I'm just using that as an analogy for how they package the game itself. You're gonna create what you're gonna create, how you create it, and I think that they still nail this. I think, in fact, the one issue that I have is not in the because here I'll take a side. I'll take another. Here's another side that I will take with you on this. I think that I don't mind the launch, like the cars that they give you at launch and the tracks they give you at launch. My issue is that there are a lot of different little mini game modes that are scattered throughout the championship portion of this game that you cannot play separately in arcade. The only thing that you can play in arcade is you can just race. You can't do anything you can't reach any of those except for the stuff except for the stuff in championship. So you can't even really dive into the game fully in multiplayer because of the way that it's structured, right? Like I think that's more of an issue that I find. Like, for instance, Hot Shot Racing, I think, is that was made by Sumo, same developers that did obviously Sonic Transformed and all that. They have made their game that was an homage to the 80s, obviously, but then you have like 7-8 different gameplay modes. You have like you have like a time-based game, and you have like an elimination mode. You have there's like so many different modes that when you want to jump into that game, you can jump into it and enjoy. And again, that's a different interpretation of that time point for racing games. But I do think that that's my biggest hang up with this game is that, again, like, once I'm done this is like, now once I'm going to be done, that's going to be fun. I'll be fine to come back to this and have fun with it, but there's no, I think they do need to support this.
Excellent.
Especially I think they should support this. Like, I don't need an online variant of this yet. Maybe you do that in the second game. But what I'd like to see is maybe a track time of the day, online, here's a track time record of the day we want you to set, just a way so that people will want to come back to this game. Because as much as I understand they wanted to do a reference to the past here, they kind of shoestrung themselves in terms of legacy because there's no. I don't know if there is a plan for DLC. I don't know what the plan is for more, but
I just because I mostly buy these games for multiplayer. I just realized some games like some of the modern games sometimes they do sometimes start off with a small sample platter, not as small as this one, but like a small sample platter.
Yeah.
But to remedy that, everything is just multiplayer, just like racing, Grand Prix, and everything. I think this game could have used more multiplayer and more of the single player modes or like Grand Prix and the single player modes. That's missing. Yeah. So I think that could easily be remedied if everything was multiplayer. I don't really care for much of these games single player. I mean, if I do like them, I'll play them single player. But I buy them for multiplayer, and it's just a little bit more to chew on multiplayer wise. I'm not asking for everything, but a little bit more to chew on multiplayer wise because if there's not much multiplayer stuff from the get-go, I lose interest.
No, I understand absolutely because again, like we talked about this with the original Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing. Like one of the best things about that game is how many gameplay modes there are. Capture the Chow and all that stuff.
Everything's playable with friends.
Right, with friends too. It's like you can just
jump
in and
we're playing Horizon, not Horizon Zero Dawn, but different Horizon.
The Horizon Chase Turbo.
Horizon Chase Turbo.
And
everything's multiplayer.
Everything's multiplayer. That's another game where referencing that to this, like one of the issues I have with this game is not issues, but
so they were going back on the same page there.
So one of my pet peeves, these are like little nuggets here, is that there are different car designs like in the art, but then when you see the actual cars, they're all pretty much the same design. I understand that that's a reference back, but I wish that there was a little bit of again, Slipstream does you can see that if it's a different car, you can see it's a different car. Like, the only difference really is you see that some of these cars are hatchback, some of these cars are different colors, but realistically, they're all pretty much, the same outline. Like, you're not getting a difference there. So you kind of lose the uniqueness that specific driver's car has. Again, but I think that again, like I had a lot of fun with this. I love the boost mechanic.
I did too. What was there? That's why I wanted more.
Yeah, I love the boost mechanic that it had. Again, this was a 3-tier boost mechanic, much like people have mentioned Mario Kart. But honestly, to me, this reminded me a lot more of a better Mod Nation Racers format in the way that it drifts, because it's so heavy on drifting.
Well, this is like this is Crash Team Racing's boost mechanic, because you have to click when the gauge goes up, and it's just like it's kind of like a meta game where you have to watch the gauge, time it like whoosh whoosh whoosh. It has the same like type of gauge thing for the drifting.
Yes, absolutely.
Which I like. It's a little meta game to it.
Yeah, and there are moments where, again, like I've had significant trouble trying to keep up with certain vehicles, certain racers that are just kind of ahead of the curve, because in certain gameplay modes you're going to be far back from the pack trying to catch up. And again, like you're trying to time all that out. Once you get used to the track, you get a little better. You keep moving. But once you learn, you kind of are better off with that. Again, one of the things again that I don't hate is, again, I love the fact that, again, I keep saying again, this feels like a great amalgamation of the entire development team's like gaming nostalgias. Like you can just feel it throughout you can feel that, all right, this is clearly someone's like mental like nostalgia back to certain things, like in choices and decisions. I also love the fact that, again, like specifically for me, like you look at the title screen, you look at the character select, you look at the post race, the sounds of the post race, the vibe of it. It reminds me so much of Wave Race, but Wave Race is obviously just a product of the time. It just, you can really feel that energy of the past there. It really nails it. I thought, again, like this is a good honestly, it's a great game in the Switch lineup, because again, there's a lot of shovelware trash out there. I think, again, for a now, it's starting to get oversaturated marketplace of these sort of games, because this seems like it's the target that people want to go after for the time point that people want to reference when they're making these games, and how they want to make these games, and it's a lot of fun. But yeah, this is fun. Slipstream was fun.
It's a ground Steam Deck.
I bet it's probably even. I'm betting if I put 4 players on this on Switch, I bet it runs much better on Steam Deck for 4 players. I don't know how taxing this would be on Switch, but I haven't tested 4 players yet. So.
Yeah. You won't have much content unless you play a single player, but like, hey, you can get 4 players working fine.
Yeah. That was I almost said Horizon Chase Turbo. By the way, for the sequel, again, I hope this gets a second one, but I hope they kind of keep their design language, because again, we talked about this with Horizon Chase Turbo 2. They really lost their design language, and it kind of felt like they lost their entire identity. Remember that? It was like they changed their design, and it felt like a phone game at that point. It felt like the design kind of it had fallen away from like something. They had lost so much identity when they had modernized the design of that game. It was strange.
Yeah.
All right. Victory Heat Rally, guys. Again, $25. I think it's still worth it, but on sale even more. All right, Mark. Before we wrap, my God, why didn't this start? All right, to wrap up our Turbo Port report, Mark, I want to talk about Super Mario Party Jamboree.
We talked about some of the other wrap-ups.
We never actually talked about it in the December wrap-up. We never actually went into it fully. I don't remember. Did we?
I feel like we're talking about one wrap-up. I don't know. We can talk about it again.
Just briefly. I'm not going to spend as much time as I did with Victory Heat Rally, but we played this game together. I played it for a significant amount of time with my sister over Christmas break there. I think the biggest question about Mario Party at this point for me, and after we talked about it, I've kind of changed my thoughts on it, but as high as I stand on this game, the biggest question I have about it, I don't want to have Nintendo stuff playing that long. They're probably going to be assholes. The biggest question I have about this is, do I just put? I mean, the N64 thing is on Switch Online. I could just. Is it better than the N64 Mario parties that I
can't-
could just do for free. You know, but
I
you know
can't
what I'm
say
saying?
for sure because like I haven't really played much of this, but like I do love Mario Party Superstars, which is like based off Mario Party 1, 2, and 3, and it has a lot of like they chose the best mini games from those games and some of the fan favorite boards from that. So it's just like probably the best. It's the best Mario parties, like the best of the best Mario parties in one package. Just like Mario Party's greatest hits.
Gotcha.
And I played this a little bit. Like it's kind of an average Mario Party. It's like it's okay. My game didn't go as well because like I wasn't really winning or losing. Nothing was just like I was getting unlucky to where like nothing was eventful was happening to me during my board.
It was like you were too distant from any significant activity, and you know.
I wasn't really landing on any big spaces.
Yeah, it was the Western map.
Yep.
And yeah, I think
which is one of my least favorites of the old Mario parties, which is like I guess they're bringing back old maps from this one too.
Yeah, there are 2 old maps on 2 or 3 old maps on this set, and I don't know if they're. Again, we talked about this with their sports games. Like, I think critically, like, this is an area where they have a lot. There's more in this game, but I think maps critically should get DLC support. I don't think that's going to be Nintendo's way, but at this point, for a $60, maybe $70 game, at this point, you kind of need to add more to it in terms of the at least for the Mario Party experience. Now, what we're seeing here is the Joy-Con experiences. These are these add-ons that they put in, the Paratrooper experiences that are exclusive for Joy-Con users, and then you have Bowser sort of combat, which is more like a Walker Assault kind of game if you played Star Wars Battlefront, and that's a they've done a couple things here that kind of suffice for the fact that it's not just Mario Party alone. But I do think again, like I don't think it's competitive enough. I think you need to add a few more stages in, because one of the things that was fun with my sister, me and my sister, was like, going through the stages, getting the vibe of the stages, playing through them, getting used to them, having fun. That was our whole thing, Mm-hmm. And like that was fun. But then once we actually had finished all of the stages, we realized, we kind of. Or kind of that was the fun, and after you play through the stages already, you kind of you're done. You lose the interest on that. So everything else kind of is what becomes a priority, And again, the Bowser stuff was great. I think that's a great add-on. This marathon here format is a great add-on. It's great for online to play against people. And then again, this is the there we go, Bowser Kaboob Squad. This was also great again, where it's like you're trying to. It's a team-based system, I thought that was a great idea for at least Nintendo characters that are more secondary, that don't get the love all the time. Like it's a good idea to kind of have this game where you're gonna have players kind of be friends with or compete with people with CPUs instead of compete against. So yeah, I thought that again the add-on stuff is fun, but I think that the core game itself, it's like you kind of need to add a little bit more for it to be valuable at the price tag.
That's Nintendo spin-offs in general.
Yeah, it's kind of just said that's the kind of the norm. It's like, all right, you definitely this is not the complete game as it should be. 7 boards I think is fine, but I think again you do a little more here.
I think like Mario Party is probably one of like pick and choose. I think like because Superstars is like it's still great, but I think your issue like with like this Mario Party, I think it's gonna be the same with like every other Mario Party, because like you're gonna get tired of it after if you've done everything. Because like it's best when you get like more friends over or a mix of friends to like get different experiences out of it. Because I love Superstars, but like if I had like 3 people in my house and we played Superstars every day, we'd probably be done with it by day 3.
Yeah,
because you're already done everything. So it's like not really. So I mean that's like party, like Mario Party likes in general. Board like Mario parties and Mario Party likes in general. Not saying every party game, because there's some party games that can last forever. Super Smash Bros. But like, yeah. Mario parties and Mario parties like just kind of have that problem. But like,
fair.
It's like the type of the different Mario Party types that probably you'll probably find more enjoyable. I don't have much experience with Jamboree, but like most of its stuff looks normal, looks fine, nothing. Even though my War Game was much eventful, I didn't really see nothing much new of interest in Jamboree. I like some of the stuff in Superstars a bit better.
Okay,
but that's just me.
Yeah. All right. Again, I think the big question is always like, hey, is this, like you said, maybe Superstars would have been better is probably better in the grand scheme of things, just because.
Did you try it at all? Because you brought the Switch.
I just didn't. I didn't spend too much time on it, honestly. So that's on me. But I think again, like when I look at what's on Switch, it's like, again, can I just literally have as much fun if I'm with a group of people and we pull up Mario Party 2 or 3 or the best one, Mario Party 1? Like, it's like, probably. We're probably going to have just as fun a time, and I guess what I saved $70. Like, I think you kind of, if you're going to also offer Mario Party on N64, and I know this is not how Nintendo sees it, but I think you should probably offer more if you are, going to have those. That's basically free games outside of the membership. Yeah. But, Mark, that is the Turbo Port report. We will be right back. Final time, it's the backlog. Very short today, because we're going to wrap this up.
I didn't watch any old shit.
What? Oh, yeah, Mark was, like, watching new stuff. He didn't watch the old stuff. Usually Mark's kind of filling up this whole thing, so the backlog is pretty tiny.
I'll fill up next month.
Okay. But yeah, Mark, let's go through this backlog here. First things first, left side, you're probably wondering, what the f*** is that shirtless man doing? That's Triple X.
Brian's gay and he's on the shirtless man.
Thanks, Mark. That's Triple X. Triple X is a movie
You watched Triple X movies about shirtless men?
Totally,
I knew it.
Thank you.
I fucking knew it.
Appreciate, so this is the Vin Diesel project that, if you remember, Too Fast, Too Furious, he said, nah, I'm doing this. And he decided to do this. Triple X is actually like, if you remember Mission Impossible 2, it's like, it's in that same vein. And even Too Fast, Too Furious. It just comes out at a time where movies are just fucking stupid. Like, you're talking about extreme, stupid, random shit happening all over the place. It's not that it's super cheesy. It's just that it's taking itself seriously while being so heavy with explosions and action and chaos and all that stuff. And look, Vin Diesel is cool, but he's no fucking frontline actor. I mean, this dude cannot read dialogue to save his fucking life. Holy shit. Like, look, you get a Samuel L. Jackson Samuel L. Jackson's basically doing his trial run for Nick Fury in this movie. He's the director of this whole thing, of this whole program that Triple X is in. And Triple X himself is pretty much like an early YouTube influencer. He's jumping off buildings with cars. He's doing random wacky shit. It's wild. It's explosive. It's fun. And he just loves to do extreme things. That's his whole fucking thing, extreme things. But, like, he's got to save the day, and through that all, there's gunfights and Russians and fighting and sex and action and chaos, and it's all there.
Sex!
And, but yeah, like, no joke, Vin Diesel probably this could have been his franchise if he could read dialogue. Like, holy shit, he can't read dialogue. Like, there are moments where, like, you're like, holy fuck. You're not, like, these other actors are given at least something. Like, you can't hesitate on the line reading. You can't, like, there's no, like, dramatic pause. You can't do any of that shit.
You can't do shit.
So, But this movie made this movie made a lot of money.
I haven't seen this movie before.
It's on Disney Plus, funny enough.
We're actually to watch it.
So, by the way, Triple X 2 State of the Union had Ice Cube in it, bombed horrendously. I guess people realized that the whole idea was stupid. And then Vin Diesel came back, I think this was in 2020, and did Triple X. He returned Return of Xander Cage, and he's out of shape, trying to do all this dumb shit. It's fucking hilarious.
Just like me for real.
You know,
just like me for
last things last, Little Mermaid. Little Mermaid is the classic movie. We did a cartoon chat on the Black Cauldron.
Which version?
And
Which version?
if you look at the picture, and
that's a slow. I can't tell.
You can fucking tell. Shut up.
Oh, that could be like the fucking live action one. They just like drew it to like make it look cartoony.
Yeah, totally.
Which version? Say which version,
Can I finish my sentence?
No.
So obviously the Black Cauldron is one of the key pieces that leads you to the Renaissance. And so I decided, fuck it, I'll watch the Little Mermaid, the 1989 classic film. And, I forgot, I never forgot how significant this was for me. Because, the songs are iconic. The journey is simple enough, but it's like, it's cheeky and it's fun and it's adorable and it's, and it's got some, it's good. It's the start of the whole thing. So, Little Mermaid is, to me, it's timeless. It's an absolutely great film with a cool lead and situation where she's just like your normal teenager type deal, trying to get away from the responsibilities, or just not even responsibilities, but just trying to get out of there and explore a little bit. That's all. And Little Mermaid is fun. That's the backlog. That's my backlog. That's it for the December wrap-up, ladies and gentlemen. And so, January, I forgot. Our year's moving by. January wrap-up, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, we already did December.
So, of course, if you wanted to see the December, go to wrap-up, go to ScreenBlastPodcast.com, go to Screen Blast Podcast on YouTube, go to all that. January is over. Mark?
If you do want to see December wrap-up, go to K9Biscuits.com. That's K9BISKUBS.com.
KUBS?
Oh, wait, fire. That's K9BISKUBS.com.
You good?
And just the backlog's not actually there. We can just go through my old shit and just watch.
Just watch.
I lied. But since you're already there, just go through my old shit.
You might be wondering how we got here.
Here.
Yeah. But the wrap up, that was fun. Again, every movie that I saw this month was good.
Was ass.
Yeah, it was all good.
Was ass.
The only movie that was bad was the Black Cauldron. that was by force. So hey,
You chose it, man.
I know, I chose it. So guys, for I think the Black.
Black stereotype, Black Cauldron. My God.
Isn't it funny that I think most of these movies cost less than the Black Cauldron did back in 1985? Back in 1985. Oh, that's crazy. Guys, you can find me at Bryan the Baltimorean on Instagram. You can find me at Democracy. That's ATHEMOCRACY on YouTube. And indeed, yeah. And thanks for watching, guys. Screen Blast Podcast. Stay tuned for more.
Logging out, everybody.